All right, sports fan, what is up? We are back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rychel. The man left to me today is our guest for this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you happen to be catching us on in the media world. Is Temple tight end, freshman tight end, Mr. Liam Fuller. And below me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Marvin Powell III. And the man, Mr. Big Ben Troupe. What is up, gentlemen? How is everyone feeling today?
Man, good. Always good, man. Another chance to get it chopped up. I mean, we got one of the best athletes, if not the best athletes on the field today. So, it's going to be a great show today.
Yes, it is going to be a great show today. And without any further ado, let it be known that this interview is brought to you by Fight Wax. Now, everyone, Fight Wax is a product that helps treats cuts, swelling, scrapes, abrasion, rejuvenates, and restores stressed skin. It has been used for soreness, stiffness, recovery, designed for athletes in all active lifestyles. It also provides a ultra silky, non-greasy feel, deep hydration for everyday skincare, help fights dry skin. It has also been used for eczema, psoriasis, and other skin disorders. And make sure you guys are keeping an eye out because we're going to get the Fight Wax soap. And there's also a pet care products for especially our pit bull owners who know that our dogs who have that real sensitive skin, they get that yeast build up and they be tearing themselves up. That is great for those type of animals, guys. Make sure you're checking off Fight Wax. But without any further ado, let's get into the interview. Liam, first and foremost, appreciate your time today. I know you guys started getting back into work yesterday. Did I not see the first workouts were yesterday for the team? Liam?
Did he freeze up on you?
Liam, can you hear us?
Oh, there he is.
Liam. Okay. Liam, what's going on, brother?
Hold on, put him in there. Hold on. I got him right here.
Let me bring him back in, bring him back out. Liam, can you hear us, brother?
Gotta love technology.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, it's always technology.
Him over there chilling.
Send him a message on X real fast.
Oh man, another day in paradise, as they say.
I feel like we just heard him cough.
Yeah, Liam, can you hear us?
I'm pretty sure I can only hear Ben.
Now this week, see? Now this year, you can hear me. Last week, Cookie couldn't hear me.
Yeah, I think you're the only one I'm hearing. I can't lie.
Steve, we have to start from scratch.
I don't know how you fix that. I mean,
yeah.
I can
ask Liam.
I'm gonna pull myself out and bring myself back in since it's already started.
Yeah. Well, I get a jump. Liam, you can hear me?
Yeah. I got you.
So, obviously we had your teammate Cookie on last week. You were kind of talking about it a little bit. The Northeast doesn't get the same love. Well, they get different levels of love when you talk about the DMV, you talk about PA, you talk about Ohio. Mm-hmm. Talk about your experience being, from that part of the country and what people don't understand, how big-time football is played in PA, and it's more than just in the DMV.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, well, I will die on the hill that Pennsylvania is some of the best football in the country. I live and die by that statement. And if you really just look at it, you got schools out in Philly, where, they're over there tearing it up. And then you got arguably the best football in the state, which is in Western Pennsylvania. You could even say like Rob Gronkowski even said like the Whippeal football is huge. I mean that's very competitive football over there. And now Central Pennsylvania, we really the few kids we've had come out of the 26 class kind of put us onto the scene. Obviously Bishop McDevitt, the Harrisburg Cougars, um, schools like that, are starting to really really pop onto the scene even more than ever. So I would argue that this football is definitely the best football you're going to find when you're looking around. And even going into New Jersey, and I think that's why Temple um, wants to emphasize so much on recruiting the footprint. I think they make that a big under the new staff. They're going to make that a big emphasis, and I think that's really going to work out. Because a team, you come in with a bunch of guys out of college. There's chemistry. It's depending on the people takes sometimes it's hard to build, sometimes it's not, but having a lot of people from relatively the same area, from the same state, if you can get a lot of people that are from the same state, from the same three states, like just all from the Northeast, they kind of can get along a lot faster than from people all over the country. And I think that's going to definitely help us out with this new recruiting class. Our recruiting class was the best in the conference, so I'm very excited about that. And but no, I mean, I tell people, man, this is the best football you're gonna find. I mean, you hear Texas, you hear Florida, you hear California, and I'm like, that's not wrong. I'm not gonna say that's not good football, but up here, you're playing in the playoffs. You make the playoffs, you're playing in 10 degrees, 15 degrees, like that. That's playoff football weather, man. These guys in Texas are playing in the playoffs in 70 degrees. I'm like, man, that's a summer game up here. So, I just think it embodies what football is really about and the toughness, kind of the smash mouth aspect of it. So that's what I would say about Pennsylvania, um, being the powerhouse it is and nationally, football wise.
There's Pennsylvania and there's Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Where you're from,
Yeah.
yourself, Michael Parsons, Ricky Waters, LaShawn McCoy. What the hell going on in Harrisburg, Liam? I mean, what's up? Like, what's going on in Harrisburg? What's up, man? Talk to me.
Man, Harrisburg, it's just it's a special place, when it comes to that kind of stuff. And you look at the legacies guys, have built that have come from this area. You're walking the same halls as some of these guys, whether it's at Bishop McDevitt or a public school around. I mean, there's countless amounts of guys that come out of this area, and I think it's about time that we start popping onto the scene, because I was heard something recently, something about LaShawn McCoy, and they were said something that was like, yeah, LaShawn McCoy, is from just outside of Philadelphia, but and I was like, he wasn't from just outside of Philadelphia, he was from Harrisburg. Like, you got to say Harrisburg, like, we're a city, man. We need our respect. Uh, you know, I don't like the fact that we're getting roped in with Philly. I mean, I love Philly, but like, we're our own thing. Like, this is our own place, and you definitely have to embrace it. It's a great place to be, and the talent, like you guys, I'm sure you guys know, is it's unmatched. Really, I mean, it's especially this 26 class has been very special, and why? I don't know. I think there's a certain kind of grit that that comes out of being a city in a state that kind of gets overlooked, because you got Pittsburgh and you got Philly, and then there's just Harrisburg. Not a lot of people know what Harrisburg is, so you kind of have to work just as hard to kind of put your represent your city and put it on the map. So I think there's a certain kind of grit that comes with that. Um, but I think it's a very special place, and I think obviously the talent that's come out of this area is it shows for the kind of the football we play. And there's definitely a brand, like there's definitely a brand of football we play too. I think we're the perfect combination of like smash mouth football and also airing the ball out. I mean, you go around, you're not throwing the ball 50 times a game when you're playing in the playoffs. So you really, it's if you want to like see a team win a state championship in Pennsylvania, that team can run the ball. I mean, it's as simple as that, because when you're playing in the state final and it's December 2nd and it's 7:30 at night and it feels like 18 degrees, like I'm sure you guys know, it's not easy to catch a pass. I mean, that ball feels like a rock's being thrown at you. So, it's teams that can run the ball. So I think that kind of the style of football and just the grittiness of the area, I think that really all combines, to make these special players that have come from the area.
You mentioned Gronk earlier, obviously another PA, a big time PA athlete. I mean, is that who you model your game around? I mean, you 6'6". I mean, they ain't gonna miss you running down the seam, Liam.
Yeah.
What tight end, or was there a tight end growing up, or even now that you say, all right, that's how I want to play. That's my style of play.
So I mean, I'll give you three. These are probably my top three. So I love Gronk, obviously. You just gotta look at when I grew up. Gronk's always the guy that you see. Then you got, so for me, a little throwback. I like Jeremy Shockey. I love Jeremy Shockey. That he was a great tight end, just crazy. Just like just out of his mind. But dude, that he was a baller. He was an absolute baller, and I like to like kind of model some stuff after that. I'm sure. I mean, you guys. I mean, I know we got an Eagles fan in here. I mean, he went in his rookie year and mossed Brian Dawkins and stared into his soul and started shaking his head. I mean, that takes a different kind of person to go in there and do something like that, especially to Weapon X. So, and then me again, like with the time I grew up, Jimmy Graham. I loved watching Jimmy Graham when he was on the Seahawks on that Legion of Boom team. Even though, some people say he should have never left the Saints. That's neither here nor there. But I do love Jimmy Graham, especially as a basketball player myself. Watching him is certainly special. So those are my top three. And I like to say, those guys because they do match my style that I like to play. Like, there's other great guys, like Sam Laporta in the NFL now he's having a great year, but I just don't play that style of tight end. I mean, you're really never going to see Sam Laporta with his hand in the dirt, cutting off a backside C gap, but but that's the stuff that I'm going to be doing. So I like those big physical guys. So those are sort of the main guys that I've liked so far and who I try to model my game after.
Oh, we lost Ben. Can you hear me now?
Hey, Liam, can you hear me? Liam? Steve, can you hear me?
I guess not. I guess he still can't hear us. He still can't hear us.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Should I log out?
I think he must have just lost his internet. I'm not sure what happened, but I don't know why he can't hear us.
Should I log back out and try to log back in?
I mean, if we can hear each other, I don't understand why he can't hear us. That's odd. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he says he can't hear. Yep.
Hey, Ben did something so he could steal the show and have the guest all to himself. That's what he did. He wanted this young tight end so bad that he blocked this out. This is a tight end thing, man. All right, just for sugar and giggles, I'm gonna log out and log back in.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
let's see what happens. I just told him try logging out and back in the private chat. So let's see what happens. Gotta love technology. And then there was one. So let's see what happens here.
Can you hear me?
Fine. So
yeah. Okay.
Let's see what happens with when Liam gets back here. See if he can hear us.
Yeah.
Because I've reset my mic. I reset the like I can see when we're talking, like it's like there's on my end there's like 3 dots, right?
Listen, I
got you guys. I can hear you guys now.
Yes, it's a victory.
There we go.
So Liam, let me ask you this, man. First of all, you had mentioned Gronk as being one of your favorite tight ends, and that's amazing. Myself, former USC Trojan, you see the background, former New Orleans Saint fullback. The thing that I would absolutely have you focus on is the physicality that Gronk played with, man. For as much as he was a clutch receiver, and he was a clutch receiver, he was a devastating blocker. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was a devastating blocker. And, you know, that's one of the things that really separates tight ends from the next is not just their ability to go out there and catch the ball, man, but go out there and block at a certain level. So I definitely encourage you to do that. It's going to help you in your Temple career and as you move on. Let me ask you this, man. So this year we just watched Indiana, a team with players who had no stars, 1 star, 3 stars, 2 stars, a couple 4 stars, but no 5 stars, you know, and mostly 2 and 3 stars. We saw them go out there and dominate college football. Okay. I kind of look at Temple as a program that's similar to Indiana in that, you know, they've been around for a while. They've put a bunch of guys in the pros, but the university, the football program hasn't hit that level yet. When you watch an Indiana dominate with an average team of 2.5 stars, literally, does that encourage you and inspire you for what you guys can do at Temple?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you look at that Indiana team and, you know, you kind of do some research and there were a lot of seniors. So that team was very senior led, which I think is huge. I mean, Temple, we just got pretty much everybody back. We had to fill some gaps in on defense, but I think that Indiana team really shows sort of like experience over everything. You know, talent does take you far, but talent and experience is definitely huge. And I think we're definitely going to have the experience. I mean, I'm going to be going in under Peter Clark, who's been there for 4 years, who's been balling. I mean, he was All-American, All-Conference. So, I mean, you really just go in and you learn the most from the guys ahead of you. And I'm just going to be my first year. I'm just going to be, throw everything I got at it, of course, but really just trying to learn everything from those guys. And then you really look at the team and, you see the experience and, you do get, I mean, me personally, I get very excited, when I kind of see what happens. I mean, last year was the first year under the new staff. They had their best season in like 10 years. I mean, that's very promising, when you look at it from the outside in. So I think with the group of guys we have coming in, the best recruiting class, we just got like 30 kids out of high school.
Ranked number one in that American Conference.
He's on it. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm definitely excited now. But I mean, I think in 2, 3, 4 years, I mean, I think we're going to be at the top of that American Conference sitting pretty. Can't lie to you.
Yeah. Now, I got to ask you something, Liam. When I was looking into this, we interviewed somebody who was Jim Moore's best friend about a few months ago, and he was supposed to be your coach. You were initially slated to go to that university at Connecticut. He leaves, and it looks like Temple was like a last minute switch up. What outside of Coach Moore leaving, what made you choose Temple out of all the other places you could have potentially ended? What stuck out and said, you know what, this is where I want to plant my flag?
Yeah, no, definitely. So that whole situation was crazy. I mean, I was committed to UConn for like 8 months. And then one day I find out a week before signing period, hey, everything is completely different. So now I'm like, what am I going to do? I mean, I got my alarm clock that day was calls from college coaches. I mean, I was just getting flooded. My phone was blowing up. I mean, my parents could vouch. I was on the phone all day, every day for like 3 days straight. So then you really sit down and you start to weigh everything out. You kind of narrow down some schools and, look at, what's certain schools, what their trajectory looks like and stuff. And, I sat down and, I got a call from Coach Czar, the tight ends coach, and let him know he let me know that they're going to offer me. So then I started looking more into, okay, Temple. Obviously, it just didn't. So Temple, my initial Temple recruitment just didn't work out the first time around because, especially with transfer portal and all kinds of stuff, there's a lot of numbers sometimes are just weird going into the spring and going into the summer, and you don't know. So he was just like, didn't know if they would have a spot for a Y tight end like myself. And then some stuff got moved around, and that's like they found out that they were going to take a Y tight end. So he was like, listen, I wanted you the first time around, but just with the numbers, we didn't know if we had a scholarship at the, that we could give out to a high school kid. And he was like, listen, I have one, and I want it to be I want you to take it. And so I was faced with the decision because it was going to be a dead period on Monday. So like signing day was on Wednesday. And there was a dead period on Monday. So my only chance to OV was Sunday. So, I mean, a lot of other schools reached out, like some schools in Texas and obviously Colorado State where Coach Mora went. They were heavy on me too. But I came to the conclusion that I'm not going to sign to a school that I haven't visited. I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. And I made that known to coaches, and a response that I got back from a few of them were, you can wait, but we are going to look in the portal. And I'm like, okay, so that's not safe. Like, that's not safe for me. So I hit up Temple and I was like, hey, I'm interested in the OV, and went down and saw everything and saw just got a little feel for the culture of the program. And then seeing what Coach Keeler has planned, it's just like this is where I have to be. Like, this is where I have to go. And it helps that my mom played basketball at Temple as well. So that helps out a lot. She knows a lot about the area, and just so you look at it, it was just a great situation, and it also at the time was just the most safe place for me to go. I wasn't putting anything up to risk, but looking back, I wouldn't have changed it no matter what. I'm very happy with my decision. It all worked out very well.
Marvin.
Yeah. So Liam, when you look ahead at this Temple schedule, which game do you look forward to the most? Are you looking at a rival? Are you looking at somebody who that's been on your radar for a while? What are the games that you're really excited for going into this season?
All right. So growing up, I was born into a Notre Dame household.
Boo.
So I know you're a USC guy, so I'm sure.
Boo. I know you're the guest, but boo.
But I was born into a Notre Dame household, so you'll see a lot in Central Pennsylvania, especially. There's a lot of Notre Dame fans, but there's so many Penn State fans. And there's no problem with that. Penn State's a great program, but going out this year they're coming to the Link. Next year going into Happy Valley, man, that's one that I've circled pretty big. Like that's one that I'm going to be really, really excited for. So yeah, I would definitely say that Penn State game.
That's awesome, man. No, you're right. Penn State has a huge legacy program, and just definitely one of the blue bloods of the sport. So I can imagine growing up that was something that you saw all the time. Listen, in this, for people who are watching this and don't understand, again, you didn't hit the transfer portal, or is that what you had to do? Was it a situation where, as you were saying,
it was signing day? He's still a freshman.
Right. So with that said, so technically you should still be in high school, but you're doing the off-season stuff with Temple. Is that the case?
No, I am still in high school.
Okay. All right. But are you working out solo, or are you working out with a team? I know Steven said they had started up their program. Are you doing all your stuff at the house?
Yes. I'm doing everything at home.
I saw you. I think I saw one of your profiles. I had you at 230. Are you 230 right now? Are you looking to gain some weight?
We're sitting at 236, 237.
Okay.
Yeah. So I put on five good ones, I like to think.
What do you want to play at?
Looking at the Y tight end sort of body type, I want to get to whatever I can stay athletic at. But if I can play at 255,
yeah,
I think that would be great.
Yeah, you're 6'6", so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm saying you 6'6". I mean, the thing is, you I mean, they call it not that you're doing it, but in high school they call it candy and cookie weight because you ain't got the program yet. And a lot of times, Liam, you're not gonna notice that you've gotten bigger because you're around the guys. You're gonna come home and your moms are gonna be like, because you don't really see yourself getting bigger. You 6'6", 255 that's ripped, and high school 6'6", 235. It's gonna look different, but you tall, so you're gonna be able to carry it. And you don't get bigger to get bigger, you get bigger to deal with the blood of who you got to deal with. Like, hey man, I don't want to. At tight end, it's an it position now. Gronk, guys like Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Trey McBride, they've made guys want to play tight end. I played tight end in the NFL in college, but I didn't know what tight end was when I got to high school. It was new. I was like, go down there with the tight ends. I'm like, me? Like, yeah, I didn't even know what that was. So now guys are saying, look, I know what size I want to be. And you said it. As long as I can stay athletic, it don't matter how big you are. Because Gronk was what, 265, but he was athletic. And tight ends now are really what they run the passing game through. They'll run the passing game through you guys. I know you mentioned, I played, he's a couple of years older than me, but I played with Jeremy Shockey when he was at Miami. I obviously know about Gronk. With you though, being a tall guy, what is the best part of your game? Because I know you still young, but what if somebody said, Liam, man, what do you do the best and what do you got to work on?
Man, you look at the advantages, sort of just with the frame. The catch radius is huge. That's definitely something that just comes with the size. But and this is why I like Gronk. So Gronk wasn't running like a 4.5, a 4.6. But the way like tight ends like Gronk can use their body to create space and even sometimes run a route and even kind of shield someone with their body and then, get a quarterback that knows them well to put it in a spot where only they can, catch the ball. That's huge. That's why I like, watching those guys. I'm a 4.7 guy. I'm not a burner. I'm not like running a 4.58 like some of these like 6'3", 225. Like I know what kind of tight end I am. So just running really like good routes and using your body to create space. And but with that comes you need to have very high football IQ as well. Where to sit in certain zones, and maybe sometimes if it's a man, depending on leverage, you have to alter your route. So that definitely has to come with just having some football IQ. And in the blocking game, one of the disadvantages to being 6'6" is sometimes it's tough to get the bend, but you work on mobility, you work in the gym, and then you kind of work on technique and form. We got a great O-line coach at McDevitt that was helping me out. So you really focus on like overemphasize bending at the knee and not at the waist, and you can create a lot of power, especially in certain, like I love reach blocking because if I can get that step and get full extension with how long my arms are, it's just over. Like because you're not going to get back over top, and I can let you go back inside. You're never going to get there. My running back's already to the outside. So there's a lot of advantages, but it does come with some disadvantages too. Being a tall guy, DBs aren't tackling you up top.
Yeah.
And in Pennsylvania high school football, you can't hurdle. So sometimes you just gotta just kind of lower the shoulder, and sometimes you'll take a shot at the ankle or the knee, and you kind of just gotta pray that
that's a rule.
your
They
prehab.
don't let y'all jump over people.
Not in high school in Pennsylvania.
I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some free game, and I had to learn. I got long arms too. I'm 6'5". You taller than me. They tell us when you block to extend your arms. Here's why. As I got older, I realized. You ever seen somebody get in a fight and somebody jacking somebody up, right? You see how they got them jacked up like this? You are your strongest when your arms are in like this and you grabbing them, pull him to you, because here's what a defensive player wants to do. If you already extended, they want to do that to you. They want to get you extended so they can see the ball carrier, right? They want to do you like this and see the ball carrier. as long as your arms are right, when you get to them and you pull them to you like this and they can't get off, watch George Kittle. Watch the way he blocks. He's like, look, dude, you telling me they've been telling us the wrong way? Yeah, you're not supposed to help the defender, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marvin played fullback. He finna hit. He's trying to hit. He got aiming spots that he's looking to hit. He said, look, man, I'm looking for an aiming spot, which means he's getting out of there whether he don't want to or not. Because I'm gonna hit as tall as you are. When you get underneath them and you pull them to you like you jacking them up, you're gonna be looking around like, am I mauling people? Yeah, because you still gonna be breaking your 6'6" frame. You still gonna be bending with your knees and not your hips. But this time you ain't helping them. Because I'd be like, how did this guy make the play? Because if you extended and he extended, he can see the ball carrier. But when you pull him to you, think about it. If I pull you to me, I don't want you to see nobody but me. Now, a good defender gonna get off, but tell your coach that, look, man, Ben told me to tell you, am I stronger with my arms out or am I stronger with my arms? Are you right here, boy? And this is coming from a person I was not known as no blocker during my time, but my coach go, hey, man, you want to be a problem? Yeah. Learn how to stay in front of a dude. As long as your dude ain't making the play, you won. I don't care trash talking. If he didn't make the play, he could be like, Coach, he holding me. And when they say, Coach Liam holding me, sorry, I've been in the weight room, baby. That's D's right here. Four arms and hands, man. I mean, and you can get them, but the way you don't sound like no freshman. When I was a freshman, I sound like a freshman. I don't know about no football IQ. I don't know about no hip bend. I don't know about. I'm like, tell me what I need to be. Tell me what I need to do, and I'm gonna do it. And you already sound, and you get to stay home too, man. Like the fact that you get to stay in PA. Your mom is loving the fact that UConn effed this up. She's loving that. She's like, oh, y'all messed it.
She definitely is.
She is loving the fact that you get to see. You was like, hey, mom. She was like, is it? I guess I'm going to Temple. She's like, don't play with me. I am. And
especially when it came down to two Texas schools in Colorado State. And that made it a lot better.
Of course. Mom want to see you play. And once somebody realized who your mom is on campus, like, wait a minute, man, your mom played basketball? Yeah. Legacies come in a lot of ways on campus. So I'm happy that your mom legacy get to live on through you. And man, don't think so much, man. Go out there and play. Look, go out there and be who you are. I love the fact that you say we ain't outside of Philly. No, we Harrisburg. Don't say outside. There's a bunch of places outside of Philly. No, we are Harrisburg, PA, the home of LaShawn McCoy, Ricky Waters, Michael Parsons, and now Liam Fuller. Stop playing with us.
Absolutely.
Liam ain't wrong there. Listen. We like to try to adopt the other half of PA when it's not ours. It's not, and he's spot on there. Like say the name. It's Harrisburg. It's Bishop McDevitt. It's whatever, but you can't lop Philly in with the whole state of Pennsylvania. It's just not how it works. It's not how it works. And I'm glad that he put that out there because a lot of times he's from Philly. No, he's not from Philly. He's from upstate PA. It's from Harrisburg. And we talked about a lot of things. Obviously, Ben was just talking about. I know your mom was doing cartwheels when you committed to Temple there. Being able to have your family in the backyard there. Now you've already mentioned you're going to be. You got that Penn State game circled up. How much fun is it going to be for you to play in Lincoln Financial Field this upcoming season? To be able to have that type of energy at one of your home games there.
Oh man, it's gonna definitely be surreal. I mean, everybody is Birds fans, really, in my family. So having that sort of connect, like now having that connection, playing in Lincoln Financial Field. I mean, extended family, as far as I know, is all hit me up. Like I'm gonna be at every single home game, and I'm like, I mean. I would hope so. I mean, you guys are all such Eagles fans, and spend a Saturday at the link, man. There's no better way. But no, it's definitely special. And there was a little part of me when I went into my recruiting because it wasn't just my mom. I mean, I my cousins. I mean, a bunch of people went to Temple, and I sort of was like that kid that kind of wanted to be like oh, like I want to go, write my own story. I want to go to my own school and, sort of, do my own thing. But now like stuff worked out the way it did. Now I'm sitting here like, well, I can go do the same exact thing at Temple. So, that's kind of what I'm taking with it. And it was just all around. Just it's a great place to be at. But yeah, those Saturdays in the link are going to be fun, man. It's definitely going to be wild going from, some, Rocco Hortensio Stadium with, 2,000 people a night to, the link and Beaver Stadium with 110,000. I mean, it's going to be.
That's what I was about to ask you. What's gonna be more special for you? Obviously, the link and having your family there is cool, but is Happy Valley when you get to play there? Is that going to be the special moment for you, being the upstate PA kid?
I mean, so my mom works for the Penn State Hospital, so we go to a lot of the Penn State football games. Like I grew up going to the Penn State football games, and I've just always thought to myself, like, how do these guys do it on the field? I mean, it is so loud in here, like I can't even think straight. I mean, this is ridiculous. And now, like, just sitting here trying to come to grips with the fact that, man, that's gonna be me out there trying to get the call with 110,000 people, screaming. It's gonna be wild. And even the game at the link is like sold out pretty much. So that's gonna be a sold out link the first time we play them my freshman year. And I don't really know what to think of it. Obviously, I'm a competitor. I'm not backing down from anything. I'm not worried about anything. But it's definitely going to be a lot different. But you just kind of roll with the punches, and I just want to get after it, man. Like I'm not gonna be worried because there's people in the crowd. The people in the crowd have no effect of what my assignment is on the field. So that's kind of just the mentality I'm taking with it. And yeah, I mean I'm saying this now. But I'm saying this now, but with, don't quote me after the Penn State game.
We'll put a heart monitor. Hold on, Liam. Though you ain't hold on. You said something. You said you keep on saying my family went to Temple and my family are Birds fans. Are you a Birds fan, Liam?
So, again, like I said, with wanting to write my own story, I was a rebellious child. So I consider myself more of a Steelers fan.
Okay, because I'll be one of y'all PA. Y'all get to pick. It's either Steelers, or Philly. Okay. Just making sure because you said.
But like now I just really like. I just follow tight ends that I like, and so yeah, I would consider myself a Steelers fan, but I'm really just a fan of tight ends. Like I really like. I mean, I like the Bears because of Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. I think those are two dogs that got out there. And I like the Raiders with Michael Mayer. I liked Michael Mayer a lot at Notre Dame and Brock Bowers. So, I'm a big fan of tight ends. And now starting to, like places where Temple guys are at, like big left tackle for the Buffalo Bills is a Temple alum, Dawkins. So, yeah, I would say it really cheap, but I'm a Steelers fan more. But yeah, so my mom didn't like that.
You call yourself a Bear. You say I was a Bear.
It's all good, brother.
No. Because I said, wait a minute, because I have to confirm it because I had to make sure you weren't, a Birds fan. So you are Pittsburgh, Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith. Have you ever seen a tight end as big as Darnell Washington? Ever?
Nah, that guy's a left tackle playing tight end, man. It is ridiculous. But I mean, that just goes to show what I said earlier. I mean, really, the position is evolving. Whether people like it or not, and it's becoming. You put on as much weight as you want. If you can still hit these numbers and still be athletic, I mean, if you're 300 pounds and you're moving, why not give you the ball? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's business. I mean, Darnell Washington catching the football is business decisions for any defensive player. It doesn't matter who it is because the last thing you want to see is a guy that big turning upfield because now it's like, all right, now I got to deal with this dude. And he run on the sideline, which means, hey, dude, I'm not going to let you cut me on the sideline. You're going to have to hit me. You're going to have to and I'm not run out of bounds. So Darnell Washington listen, there's a guy, Bird, to play for the Birds. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Peters, Jason Peters. Jason Peters, me and Jason Peters came out in 2004. He played tight end in Arkansas. We when the tight ends went to the combine, and we all flew in. We all met in Atlanta and got on the plane. When Jason Peters walked up, I'm thinking, dang, he must have missed his flight. Like he must have missed his flight with the tackles. And he was like, no. I play tight end. I'm like, nah. And then I played Arkansas that year, so I do remember him. He is a freak of nature. Like he was that big. Darnell Washington was not that big at Georgia. Darnell Washington was the wide tight end. Brock Bowers was the U tight end. He was the move tight end. Darnell Washington was big in college. He wasn't that big. And that boy he making money now. So, he started, but Jason Peters is who I think Darnell Washington will end up being, because he's not going to continue to be able to play tight end that big. Now, right now, in Pittsburgh, it's working. But I've seen Darnell Washington before. He just didn't get the ball thrown to him. I saw him at Arkansas. Jason Peters, I think when we weighed in, you start hearing, 6'5", 6'4", 245, 255, 265. You heard 6'5", 325. Like, wait. He's in the wrong room. But Polly was probably going to be a Hall of Famer at left tackle. For what he did in Buffalo, what he did, in Philly, and obviously he made some decisions outside of Philly that I don't necessarily agree with, but people trying to make money, I ain't mad at him. But yeah, I would say, Liam, you got the best attitude, and like you said, the tight end position is evolving, and tight ends are only good when you got a wide tight end. Why if you don't have a tight end like you, like me, that put our hands in the dirt, the U tight end is not, because U tight ends can block, but they don't want to block. They want to get out there and get in the passing game. Y tight ends are more of the Swiss Army knife. Mm-hmm. You can do it all, man. And like you said, look, you don't got to be fast. Tight end, it's simple with a tight end. You don't got to be fast. You just can't be slow, and you're not slow. So you don't got to be fast. You just can't be slow. And slow tight ends means, that you catch a route wide open. Can you get 30 yards before you get caught? Because guess what? Most fast guys get caught after that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't Tyreek Hill, but the tight end position is evolving. Liam, now I got to watch Temple. See? Now I got to watch Temple. I get to tell my family, no, man, I talked to Liam. They're going to say, you do not know him. You do not. Liam grew up going to Penn State games, going to the Penn State Hospital. Mama went to Temple. Family is Birds fans, and he liked Pittsburgh. Yeah, that sounds like an E. Hollywood story. That sounds like a 30 for 30 football story. And Liam saying, now, no, Liam, here's the real thing. What happens when you get drafted by the Birds and you got to play against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, just being in the NFL that'll be enough, man. That's enough. That's enough of an honor, man. I probably wouldn't even be thinking about it. But you bringing up Jason Peters actually reminds me of this. So I went to we were doing like a fundraiser at my school, and there was a lunch, and I was sitting at a table with LaShawn McCoy, and he's asking everybody questions, and then I ask him, I'm like, who are the best players you've ever played with? And he says Tom Brady, and then he's like, but do you really want to know who the best football player I've played with was? I was like, I mean, yeah, I will ask you the question. He was like, Jason Peters was the best football player I played football with at my whole life. And I was just like, wow. That really you kind of pause for a second. You're like, you played with Tom Brady and you're saying Jason Peters is, and I was like, why? He's like, once you play football more and more and start to understand the game more and more, he was like, you'll understand a lot more. And I was like, all right. So I do have his phone number, and I will, when I start playing college football, I'm going to text him and be like, okay, I got you. I know what you were saying now. Now you got Jason Peters as your favorite player. So I did think that was interesting when you brought up Jason Peters.
Yeah, but you know what he's really telling you too? That means that somebody's asking somebody who the best football player they've ever played with, and they telling them, I played with this dude named Liam Fuller. That's what he's trying to tell you. Like, Tom Brady is easy. He's the GOAT. Everybody, no one's gonna dispute that. Mm-hmm. But he said, the longer I played football, and I realized, wait a minute, man. Like, this man played left tackle for almost 20 years in the NFL, and he went undrafted. He went undrafted at Buffalo, and then he went to Philly. And what he's saying is, man, I get it, man. The best football players, man, everybody don't know him. You asked him the best football player he's ever played with, not the best football player to ever play football. That's Tom Brady. To most. He's saying, dude, this dude could do anything. Tom Brady played quarterback. We know Tom Brady can't catch, right? We saw that. He cannot catch. They threw it to him.
Yeah, we did see that.
If they threw it to Jason Peters, he would have caught it. I guarantee he would have caught it because he's that athletic. And he did it for Buffalo. Obviously, he did it for Liam. To somebody, you're going to be the best player they ever played with. Now, we're not privy to these conversations. Marvin Powell, right? The second was somebody best player they ever played with. And I think that's the thing about football that I think is humbling is to somebody that saw you play, they said, this dude. Because, we watch each other when we out there, right? We ain't crazy. We know who the guy is. And we even with us ego-driven, boulder on our shoulders, we know who the guy was. Well, just because you don't think he was the guy, somebody be like, that dude was that. He was that. I played against Brian Dawkins. I still got probably a bump right here to prove it. Brian Dawkins is the best safety I've ever played with. But I also played against Troy Polamalu. I played against Ed Reed. I played against Sean Taylor. I played against John Lynch. I played against, some of the best ever come out there.
That was a scary time to be playing football,
well,
man.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But what made Brian Dawkins the best, he played how he looked. You know how certain guys, they just look it in their uniform?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He played like that. I mean, he ain't the biggest, but dude, he got his arms all oiled up, showing off the muscles or whatever, and he is going to hit you. Ain't gonna be no, man, are you gonna hit me today, Mr. Dawkins? No, I'm gonna try to knock you out, and I'm gonna pray for you. When I knock you out, I'm gonna come up and say, Lord, please bless this young man to be okay. But if he does come back out here, I'm gonna knock him out, and I'm gonna knock his soul out. If his soul walk out here, I'm gonna knock his soul out. So I just hope that because of where you're from and your mom ain't really telling you the full magnitude of how ecstatic she is. She ain't really letting you know. But if they put the camera on your mom when you get to play, she's gonna be like, oh my freaking God, that is my son wearing that Temple. Hey man, congratulations, man. I mean, like I said, UConn got you at Temple. And ain't nobody trying to go to Colorado. I don't care if it's Colorado with Coach D. Ain't nobody trying to go that far to play football, man. You a Northeastern kid. I want to play in the Northeastern kids want to play in the Northeast. West Coast kids like Marvin want to play on the West Coast. South kids want to play in the South. Because just like you don't know nothing about the heat, we don't know nothing about the snow, sir. When Southern kids come up north, we want to make a snow angel. We wait a minute, it do this every day? Yeah. It's going to be like this for 3-4 months because we don't know. How do I know? I lived in New Jersey, and I got introduced to black ice in a different way because I didn't know what black ice was. I'm thinking, well, black ice is black, right? Like, not really. That's just kind of a practice. I'm looking for black ice on the ground like a crazy person. So my daughter I take my daughter to daycare, and I come outside, and my foot hit the surface, and I went up in the air like the dudes off of Home Alone. I'm like, God. And I hit the ground. I get up real fast, and I run back in the building. I don't know why I did this. I come back out the building. I'm walking back to my car, and there's a person in the car behind me. They saw the whole thing. They like, yeah, I saw you, bro. Like, and nobody gonna know but you and me. And so yeah, man, I'm rooting for you though, Liam, man. I'm biased because you play tight end. I'm always biased to the tight ends, I think. And Liam, you're 6'6". So when your coach say, hey, we want you to come into the backfield and do a wham block, tell them no, we don't do that. We're not fullbacks. Marvin is a fullback. Right? Just because you can, because let me tell you what's going to happen. Remember how you said you got to do that knee bend? That linebacker is 6 feet. And he going to run. I'm just telling you, I tried it. It doesn't work. I tried it. I got a concussion. I went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I did a wham block in training camp, and that's the last play I remember. But I got hit, and I woke up in a hospital room going, what's my name again? I'm telling you, don't. We block people. They're right there in front of us. Safeties, linebackers, defensive ends, outside linebackers. Coming into the backfield, coming up, trying to hit the middle. You got to come up in the middle linebacker. You got to hit Nakobe Dean and Bond and those guys. Leave that alone, sir. I want to see. I want to see you healthy.
I do. So I do play in the backfield at my high school now, and my sort of like welcome to high school moment was I was off the ball like playing at H, like a sort of on the wing, and I had to come across into the flat. It was a play action, so I was like, oh, like all right, let's get it. So I start booking it across, and I'm looking like I start to look back a little too early, but I was like a sophomore, so and I was looking back a little too early, and the DN like did like a wide rush, and then my tackle set back, and I ran right into that DN and didn't even see him. Man, there's a clip of it from practice. I was vertical with my head on the ground, and I was just like, it was right then and there. I was like, okay. Yeah, let's go. Like let's get me attached. Like let's run outside zone. Let's run inside zone. I don't like this. So I got a new respect for fullbacks. And we did get a fullback who's my good buddy Jack, who's like five. Yeah, he's like 5'9", 240. Absolute. He's like benching 405, just a spark plug kid. And I was like, yeah, this is more his speed, man. The fullback, that stuff's. Man, that's a different kind of football right there. So yeah, I'll never forget that.
I mean, you're gonna have to get a screenshot if as tall as you are, you're gonna have to get it. Just as a reminder, Marvin, our expert fullback up to the far right. Marvin, go ahead and give him your spiel on being physical, because like I just respect fullbacks because that just sounds like a position that don't F around. Like, look, man, I don't play, I don't do a bunch of kicking. No, dude, I hurt people, and I hurt them consistently.
You gotta be a little crazy to play fullback. Like that's a different kind of a position, man.
Grown man football. That's everybody else coming to the stadium taking pictures of people saying, "Oh, have a good game." What's up, Marvin? Okay, because that's
Marvin, get in here, brother.
Yeah, Ben, you hit it on the head. I had mentioned to Liam when you had cut out. He had mentioned how Gronkowski was his guy, and I just talked to him about the reality of how Gronk played physical, and in this day and age of CTE and, Ben's talking about concussions and we're trying to make the game safer. The truth is the game was meant to be played a certain way, and that's violent and that's physical, and that's never going to be out of style, in regards to what coaches are looking at, what scouts are looking at, the athletes, the freak athletes who can go out there and catch the ball like Antonio Gates, catch it like a Tony Gonzalez. Those guys are going to always be in play. But at the end of the day, your physicality, your ability to play violent, you talking about wham blocks. Man, you go out there and try to murder that dude. It's just what it is. That's really how the game's supposed to be played. Liam, I learned football from my dad, who played in the NFL in the 70s and the 80s. It was for the Jets. It was a much different game back then. They weren't trying to protect the quarterback. They didn't care about defensive receivers. That wasn't even in play. You know what I'm saying? It was knock your head off football, and I highly encourage you to play with that mentality. Let me ask you, Temple's a great school, man. What are you going to study in college, and what are your plans after football?
So I'm going to do at Temple, I'm going to get into sports management, and then after I graduate, I'm going to get into, this is my plan now, but I'm going to get into pre-law, and I want to be a lawyer for and represent athletes and go over contracts and that kind of stuff.
Liam, I'll tell you like this, man.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, my dad played 11 years in the NFL. He went to law school while he was in the NFL. He did 6 off seasons his last 6 years in the NFL. And then, a guy who wants to be just like dad, I went to law school as well. I didn't finish. My dad asked me, though, when I was in law school, he said, Marv, do you want to have to kiss these boys' butts? Do you want to have to be that guy and do that? I was like, nah, not really. I kid you not. And then from there, I really changed my focus when I thought about the reality of that. With that said, these athletes need great representation. I highly encourage you to pursue that if you really are in this thing for the right reasons, and I'm sure you are, because you play a pivotal role in these young athletes' success, and this is what their journey is going to be, man. So, yeah, it's important for you while you're in school. take advantage of the academic opportunities. Take advantage of the opportunities to get into certain groups and associations, because while you're at Temple, what you really want to do is build your network. That's why you go to certain schools, to build your network up, man. And I think you're at a great school for that. And just being in the Northeast, around Philly, around New York, you're around a lot of power and a lot of influence, and that Temple University degree, or the fact that you're a student athlete there, is going to take you to a lot of places, man. Sports agency, sir, are you looking to be more of, I don't know if you watch Entourage, are you looking at like maybe an Ari Gold style? Are you going to be like Dwayne Johnson in The Rock, and do like baller style? What kind of agent are you going to be?
I mean, I want to represent football or basketball players mostly. I think because that's just what I know. Like, I play basketball as well.
Yeah.
So that's just what I know. So I'd want to represent them, and I want to do a lot of it, to try to protect. Like, I want to do most of it at the collegiate level, especially with the NIL being so big. I want to try to do it in a way, because at McDevitt, I've seen, some of my teammates that went on to college kind of do stuff with contracts that they didn't really know they were signing, but they were just thinking about the bigger picture and didn't really read the fine print. And a lot of them, fell into some situations that, are unfair, but it's kind of just, it's a business and that's just how it is. So, seeing that, I'm like, I don't want that to, like, I want to try to protect as many people from that as I can. So that's kind of the motivation behind it, and that's like sort of what I want to do.
That's awesome. So does Temple offer sports management as a program? Is that a degree that you're looking at? Is it tied to business or?
Yeah, it is. It is tied to business. So I think getting that, like, the business side of it, and like how people who make the contracts think is definitely going to help when I want to, represent people who have to sign them. So if I can understand the psychology to why people do those contracts the way they do and try to protect themselves, I think that'll help me protect the athletes that are signing the contracts.
Definitely. And back to what you had said, man, having that business background is crucial when representing athletes, anybody in the industry, because what you're talking about is getting into the entertainment industry, sports and entertainment. And then that legal background is also equally as important, because you're right. You're going to be in front of a lot of contracts. And, Ben can tell you, man, it's one of those things where a little bit of language here, a little bit of language there, and you ain't getting what you thought you was getting, or it ain't going to go down the way you thought it was going to go down. And you got to have somebody who's reading the details, man. So that's good, man. I think that's outstanding. I think you're in a great situation to do that. And as you go through your own journey as student athlete, you're just going to see things. You're going to see guys go to the pros. You're going to see guys training for the combine, training for the pro day. And you're going to be around all that stuff, man. So that's awesome, man. And I wish you the very best of luck with that. In the meantime, boy, I highly encourage you, get your mind right, Liam. Get your mind right. You think physicality and violence when you lifting, when you running, when you laying in bed at night before you go to bed, man, that's just what it is. Your ability to go out there and attack, and I mean really attack these people and be violent with your hands, is going to separate you from the rest, man. So I'm happy to hear you talking that language, man, and I encourage you to stay on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, I got one last one before we get ready to let you go enjoy the rest of your day, the afternoon, right? So obviously, we talked about a lot of things here today. Temple, obviously, you already got your photo shoot on. You sent us a bunch of pictures. One, are you? What number are you sticking with when you get out there?
So my guy Peter Clark has 88. So we'll see what happens, because he's been such a major piece to that program, and he's just done a lot, and he's really earned himself a name there. And so, he could get voted for a single digit. He might just decide to stick with 88, but whatever happens. I'll take whatever they give me.
Now your mom was a big part of the Temple basketball program. Temple basketball has been, huge for Temple athletics. Are you gonna go out there and support the basketball programs as much as you go out there and support the football programs, being as your mom was a big part of Temple basketball as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mom, as a sports alumna, still has like she like sponsors athletes still, and a lot of the time she'll get a basketball player on the women's team, and so we go to her alumni games and stuff, which is that's always a good time. I've been going to those since I was a little kid as well. So yeah, no doubt. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd be going do both. I mean, I can hoop a little bit. I'm probably a lot better in my head than I really am. But no, I absolutely, I'm definitely gonna go and just sort of embrace everything and kind of take it all in because college is it's a short part of your life, but it's very it holds a lot of weight, for the rest of your life. So yeah, I'm gonna just embrace everything and embrace being in Philly and all the great sports and everything Temple has to offer. And then yeah, I just we'll just kind of take that mindset into it, and I think it'll all work out great.
Well, hopefully, you and your mom can catch some basketball games, regardless if you're playing or not, and kind of enjoy that. What I typically like to do here at the end, as we wrap things up, is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, shoot out your social media sites. Anything else that you would like to let the people know about that we didn't touch on this afternoon. The time is yours, my friend.
Man, I mean, I guess I'll plug my Instagrams, Liam Fuller _88. But no, as far as everything else, man, this was a great experience on this show, and I give all my glory to God, man. That's who I credit everything to, and I have a great family, a great support staff. As my high school, we like to say, it takes a village, and really, this is a very special moment for me in my life, and it's really a dream come true, and I'm just excited, for the next chapter, and yeah, that's about it.
Liam, yeah, it was definitely a pleasure having you on here today. Getting to learn a little bit about you. You're always welcome here on the program. If there's something's going on, something you want to share with some people, whatever. You always have an invitation here on the Fan of the End, the South Florida Tribune. You can if you have anything to ask, you want to reach out to Ben or Marvin, just let one of us know. We'll get you in contact with these guys. Always to have somebody to talk to, listen to, give you some feedback on some stuff. It's one of the things that I love about doing these shows is just connecting people with people they didn't normally have contact with, and just spreading the positivity around. So appreciate your time today. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on what goes on with Penn. Ben's already on it, getting on your Instagram.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm just making sure. Listen, I know that Greg Olson and Travis Kelsey, and those guys got a tight end U in Nashville. No, tight end U is real. You a part of tight end U. No matter what school you went to, we repping all day long. So now I got my nephew. He's a freshman at Kennesaw State right now. He's playing running back, and I got another. So now I get to tell him. I said, listen, man. I said it's gonna be a younger coming named Liam Fuller. Not only is he going to be running through these DBs and safeties and linebackers, you might want to hire him if you get a contract. You want to make sure that you get the money that the contract states.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely,
the Fuller Agency coming soon. The Fuller Agency, where hey man, we trying to help these young men. You know what I'm saying? When they come football. But you say you a hooper though. I mean, you dunking that thing. And what's your favorite dunk?
Man, I like to catch. I like to catch in the corner. I'll go rip baseline. I'll give you 2 dribbles, and I can 360 to the front of the rim.
You disrespectful, Liam. That's what you say. You sound like you disrespecting people on the court. No, just say that. Just say, I want to disrespect you on the court if I can.
A lot of sports is big about winning the mental game too, and there's no better way than to dunk on someone in front of a packed house to take them out of a game. So
it's all mental, Liam. It's all mental. It's all psychological warfare 24/7. Believe me, that's a real thing. That is a very real thing at every level. Psychological warfare. Learn how to apply it. Practice it in your daily. Too bad for your friends. It's okay. They'll be okay.
Absolutely. But yeah, not a big layup. Not a big layup, guys.
Before we go.
Not really. Just thank you guys all for this experience, man. This was This was just awesome. You know, I've done a lot of interviews, but you know, for me, they don't really ever get easier. So I just try to come on here and do the best I can, man. But I'm very grateful for the invitation, and yeah, you got to get some more Central PA guys in here, man. I'm interested to
Yeah,
see
dude.
what they have to say about
Listen,
it.
the door is open. If one of you, if you know somebody that maybe should get some more love, get some more attention, just have them reach out to us, man. We'll definitely find some time and some places for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can definitely get some people to reach out.
Sounds good, my friend. Enjoy your afternoon. Definitely looking forward to having you back on here again. Hopefully, after a good freshman season of football under your belt. Again, the interviews will get easy, and Liam, like obviously, we're you're still a young man, still cutting your teeth, still getting used to what to expect, what not to expect. It's all about the repetition, my friend. You'll get used to it after a while, and it'll just become second nature to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
No,
Thanks
it's
for coming
definitely our
on, man.
pleasure,
Appreciate
Liam. You have a good one. Stay in touch, my friend.
Good luck.
Absolutely, guys. Have a good one.
You too. All right, everyone. That was Temple product, PA product, Mr. Liam Fuller. Obviously, that was definitely fun. Learning a little bit about Liam, his background, stuff that he's going to be doing, stuff that his futures, his dreams, his goals is going to be. I think he's going to be a kid we'll hear a little bit more about over the next few years, as far as when that Temple program continues to ascend to the levels that they are right now. So. What are your guys' thoughts? Obviously, it's always good catching up with kids like Liam. What are your thoughts? Obviously, Ben. I know Ben was loving the fact that we had
yeah, man, always. He's very polished. I think sometimes with these young men, you forget you talking to a 17, 18-year-old young man, because he's talking about the portal. He's talking about what he want to do. He's talking about understanding the culture of where he's going through you see how he's talking. He's making grown man decisions. Well, because of what happened at Temple, and then UConn and Colorado State, and they had two Texas schools, I had to make and I think that's what I like the most, is when people get to see. It's easy from afar to say what these young people should be doing, but we ain't the ones having to go through it. We're not having to worry about who's representing us. Are they taking advantage of us? This coach is going over here. What do I do what's best for my future? When ultimately, man, I'm trying to decide, do I wear a cummerbund, or a bow tie, to the prom? That was our biggest decision in the second half of our high school career. Not, man, do I go to Temple still with my coach choosing to jump ship? Do I stay close to home? So very, very impressed by the young man. And I like the fact that he knows who he is now. He looks, I'm not a burner. I'm a tall guy with a large, with a huge catch radius. I'm a wide. Y and U tight ends is the thing. Y tight ends is the guy with the hands to the ground. The U tight ends, that's the guy that moves. That's the guy that, like, which I know you know this already, Stephen. The U tight ends would have been, that's Trey Burton. When they had Selleck was the Y, Burton and Ertz was the U tight end. They was the guys that moved. So he's like, look, I can do that, but that ain't me. I can go from left to right. I can take my hand off the ground, go to the right. And I like the fact too that he's coming into college knowing, you don't got to try to make me something I'm not. I know what I'm here to do. I embrace doing it. And I've already had my welcome to football moment with the fullback stuff. That ain't me. So if y'all looking for me to do that, I picked the wrong spot. But very, very impressed with him, man. Obviously, I'm following him on IG, and I'm going to do my best to try to, stay on top of what he's going on with him, man. Just to let him know, man, we rooting for you over here on the fan and end.
What about your thoughts, Marvin?
Yeah, I was also really – yeah, I was impressed with his maturity and his ability to communicate. We asked him questions, and he had insightful answers, which is rare for a kid his age. When I was his age, I wasn't that polished in front of the microphone. And even back in the mid-'90s, I was doing, interviews and in certain situations quite often out in L.A. When I was in high school. And this guy, he comes off way more I won't say way more mature, man, but a much stronger communicator. And I think that's awesome. I think for a guy who wants to get into representation, for a guy who wants to get into sports entertainment, I think he has the right personality. I think he looks like he's a young, strong kid. And I'm talking about more of just of his core of who he is as a man. And his parents, his mom, did a very good job with him. He was talking about being competitive, and I think there's a benefit when your parent has been a college athlete. I think the main thing that I see that a lot of college athletes who are my friends who have kids, you teach your kid to be a competitor above all, and I mean a competitor in all areas of their life that matter, that they care about. And I see that in him. So kudos to his mom for her impact on him, because I see it. And I was highly impressed with this guy. I really was. He sounds to me like a kid who has his head on straight. He knows what he wants. And that's half the battle, just knowing that, just having direction in your life and having a plan. So, yeah, I thought it was a great interview. I thought he did a great job representing himself for somebody who wants to get into sports entertainment. I think he does well in media. And, I hope that he plans on, outside of social media, I hope that he plans on doing his own podcast or something to get going, because I think he's like that. So yeah, good kid. I think he has a bright future.
Mm-hmm. I do as well. It's one of the reasons why when he added me and I started looking him up, I was like, this should be a fun interview. So, and getting right into it, obviously there's been a lot of news and topics in the current stuff, but also throughout this year, and I wanted to kind of get on this one, right? So we were talking about the stuff that was going on with Teddy Bridgewater this year. So now there has been a bill passed because of Teddy Bridgewater's suspension as the head coach at Miami Northwest. They're using over $200K of his own money to fund team expenses. Politicians said this should never happen. Bridgewater was investing his own money into foods, rides, from practices, recovery expenses, and more. When this first happened, some people raised concerns while there can be similar issues with recruiting and impermissible benefits, that this wasn't the case here. And Bridgewater simply was just being a member of the community. It was punished for it. So this should have never happened. And it's awesome to see that laws are being put in place to prevent what happened to Teddy to happen to anyone else ever again. So the fact that they went and seen what happened, and the legislators from that state was like, you know what? Yeah, we ain't letting this happen again. And we were already talking about how ridiculous of a situation it was, and what we were perceiving it was. But I'll start off with Marvin on this one. What do you think about it, that now there are laws in place to protect guys like Teddy Bridgewater that are not trying to do anything of nefarious means to try to get people to go to that school, just to take care of his kids?
Jealousy and envy make people do very ugly things. Jealousy and envy fuel most of the things that people do in this world that just aren't good. Teddy Bridgewater he wasn't trying to do something sneaky. He wasn't doing something trying to gain an advantage. He was looking out for kids, man. He was really trying to look out for kids who he recognized were in tough spots. Okay, and I don't know what his background is completely, but I know he's from South Florida, and I'm sure he's seen what it looks like. If he didn't live it, he's seen what it's like to struggle as a youth. And at this point, this is a guy who's full of gratitude. He's done well in life, made some money, obviously, as an NFL starting quarterback, as an NFL quarterback. And he's trying to impact his community. He's trying to impact the kids around him. And at the end of the day, I think that's what people see, and I think that's what people understand. You shouldn't punish these guys. When people are trying to help and write a check, or more importantly, give their time, which is more invaluable than a check in many situations, man, we should do more to encourage that, And I think at the end of the day, that's what people are coming around to understanding. This dude was just trying to be a blessing. That's it. He was just trying to have real impact in real kids' lives. And we should be celebrating that, okay? In a day and age of Instagram and social media where people are flexing their jewelry, their cars, their vacation, how they spend their money over here. This dude putting out real bread to impact people's lives. So if anything, we should be following that lead, okay? Because no matter where you come from, those kind of actions are biblical, or they're in the Torah, or they're in the Quran. People who just give out the goodness of their heart, you know what I'm saying? So that should be celebrated more. I'm happy that the narrative around him and what's happening with him is changing in that situation. Since day one, since he was at Louisville, he's always had the presence of a very positive person, humble person. You never saw ego or attitude in any of the stuff he's ever done. So this is something this is a story and a narrative that's being turned around. I'm happy about that. I'm happy he's being looked at the way he should be. And I hope there are more people who have the time or the opportunity to bless others follow his lead in doing that.
Ben.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I share the same sentiments as Marv. This was a non-story from the start, and it just goes to show you he's from Miami. He went to Miami Northwestern, and he coached at Miami Northwestern, and he won the championship in his 1 year as the head coach. We always talk about how instead of saying somebody needs to do something for these young men, he was that somebody. Mm-hmm. I'm making sure they get to and from practice. I understand. When I'm from a place, I understand the place because I am here. This is what groomed me. Lamar Jackson is from down there. Lamar Jackson is the reason why. Teddy Bridgewater is the reason why Lamar Jackson went to Louisville. I'm sorry. Lamar Jackson was a 32nd overall pick. Teddy Bridgewater was a 32nd overall pick. What's crazy about stories like this is all he was really trying to do was raise awareness that this is what coaches who aren't in my position financially, which they could do. They don't have the money to do this. They want to do this. And when we finally do it, you punish me. Wow. No, here's what really happened. No, you thought if you punished me, I would go away. But then the NFL team picked me up. So now my impact is even bigger. Now the story is growing. Now it ain't former NFL quarterback. It is current NFL quarterback. And I think for a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, it's always been bigger than that. Did you know that Teddy Bridgewater used to call plays from the stands before they made him a coach? Yeah, he used to go to the games, call plays from the stands. People, some of us got introduced by football, by basketball, by whatever, whatever. That's not who we are. That's what I do. A professional is your title. Being a pro is how you go about it. That man is a pro. And he loved them youngins. And he showed it. How you gonna punish me for using my own money? If that's the case, every teacher that's ever bought supplies would have got suspended for it. But you don't do that. Teachers aren't buying supplies because they're trying to be good teachers. They're trying to buy supplies so the kids have them because they ain't getting funded through the school to do it. Miami Northwestern is one of the most prestigious schools in Miami, but it's not in the best area. So you can show up on Friday nights and cheer for these boys, but y'all ain't giving out no Uber rides. Y'all ain't giving out no meals. $20,000 ain't no chump change. And that's making sure that all of them get taken care of. Listen, congrats. With so much respect for Teddy Bridgewater. So much respect to the lawmakers and that decided, look, we can't do this, right? Like this is what we're doing, suspending people. Because it's more coaches doing what Teddy Bridgewater's doing. They just don't get the recognition because they ain't a big name like Teddy P. That's what it's really all right. Because if we gonna suspend him, what about the guy over here, the private school coach that's doing it? Well, all right. So we're gonna do it the one we do it to everybody. But I'm happy that they got it right. And what you think Teddy Bridgewater gonna do when his NFL career is up? I give you one guess when he gets done. So. And Teddy Bridgewater went back to the NFL because he knows the bigger I become, the bigger my platform becomes, the bigger my voice becomes, the more I can do. I am from Swainsboro, Georgia. I have a nonprofit called the Uncommon Crew. It's based out of Swainsboro, Georgia. I'm not doing it for nothing noble. I'm from there, and I can speak for Teddy Bridgewater. If you're gonna replace me with who? Think about it. If I was in position to do it, that meant that nobody was there already. Wasn't nobody there. I'm not talking about the coach. I'm saying before we complain about the methodology, right? Check the method, though. Check how we're doing it. Ain't nobody else coming. We ain't doing it for look at me. No. If we say we all we got, we all we need, which is something I learned in my family and in football, it's either real or it's a slogan. It's more than a slogan over here. So shout out to Teddy Bridgewater. Shout out to all the coaches, all the Teddy Bridgewaters out there, whether we know you or not, keep doing what you're doing, whether they go pro or not. The biggest thing that shapes America is mentorship. Check the numbers. A kid that got a mentor through a coach, anything that keeps them. You want to cut down on prisons. You want to cut down on drug use. You want to cut down on criminality. Give them somebody to look up to. Give them something to aspire to. They got to breathe air like us. Not a car. Not money. Marv is a real person. Steve is a real person. Hey, Marv, you think I'm going to be all right? Yeah, man. And you know what the kid gonna say? Marv, just keep showing up, man. It ain't taking me to the game. It's I'm not used to male consistency that don't want nothing from me. That's all. So, congrats, Teddy Bridgewater. I will not be rooting for the Bucks though, Teddy Bridge. I love you, boy. I ain't doing that. But I will be rooting for you, sir. 100%, no doubt. That NFC South, hey, man, I got tied to them A-Town Down boys, even though we got Kevin Stefanski as our coach.
So we're talking about coaches, and then we're talking about jealousy and envy taking weird forms, right? So we got to talk about the biggest news that's come out in the last 24, 48 hours is that the report that Bill Polian had directed Hall of Fame voters to not vote for Bill Belichick, and it has already been confirmed that Bill Belichick did not receive the proper amount of votes to get into the Hall of Fame. This sounds weirdly familiar. Don't this sound like when the same Bill Polian was making sure that T.O. paid penance for not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, or am I mistaken? Now they did talk to Bill, and Tuesday night he denied telling fellow voters that Belichick should serve a 1-year penance for Spygate, but he had heard his fellow voters floated the idea, but he insisted that he didn't agree or disagree with the proposal. Polian said that he voted for Kraft, even spoke on his behalf during the deliberation, saying Kraft had no knowledge of Spygate scheme. Polian had added that he could not remember with 100% certainty if he voted for Belichick or not, saying he was 94% sure he voted for coach and player, most likely L.C. Greenwood. I was shocked to learn Bill didn't get when Polian said he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Let me say something. If less than 48 hours after you voted for somebody, you don't know within 100% certainty if you voted for him, if you're that senile, why should you have a vote anymore? Why? Now, we know Bill Polian absolutely has a horse in this race. He absolutely has a horse in this race. He was part of the Bills organization for a period of time where Bill Belichick was beating the brakes off of him. He was also a part of the Indianapolis Colts organization where Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were beating the doors off of him. They couldn't get him figured out. You can't sit there and tell me that he don't got a horse in this race and that he isn't having some type of situation where he's trying to make Bill Belichick pay some penance. If Bill Belichick has to pay some penance, then what's going to happen when Tom's available in what 3 years? Are you gonna make Tom Brady pay penance? Oh, that's ready.
I'm gonna go first on this one. Y'all, Marv, you do know who Bill Polian is, right? You know what else he did other than this? This is the same Bill Polian that had everybody thinking that Lamar Jackson ain't nothing but a bona fide running back. This is the same dude. This is the same guy. He had everybody, man, this dude, why would you draft him? I'm trying to tell y'all, these things happen in plain sight. I don't know Bill Polian, but you think everybody using their leverage for good? Why would you even listen to that kind of dumb stuff? Hey, don't vote him in. Who the hell is you? You got voted in, didn't you, Bill? Yeah, I got voted to the. Let me get this straight. You are in the Hall of Fame telling people not to vote in, arguably the greatest coach. But it ain't even the fact that he's saying it. It's the fact that they doing it. And this goes back to what we were saying, Steve, when it comes to the MLB. We think it's beat writers. No, it's anybody with a vote. These people like, hey, I didn't really like him back in the day, so I'm going to not vote him in. Lamar Jackson, 2-time regular season MVP, probably should have been 3-time MVP if you look at the numbers back in 2025, but that's another story for another day. A person that's already in the Hall of Fame is telling people to not vote for Bill Belichick. That's why I say if the Bill Polians of the world get votes, let us have a vote. And don't get mad at how we vote. Because this petty stuff I do all I do to become a head coach, do what I did to be held out by a guy like this. Because he can influence the room. This is clown stuff happening in real time. And this is why people laugh. I do all this to do it just to get to my crowning achievement. And Bill Polian, keep it from Bill Polian. And just because you are a Hall of Famer for what you've done don't mean you the smartest, you the sharpest knife in the drawer now. That does not mean that. Because one, Bill Polian shouldn't have done it, and two, the people that follow this lead, that's the problem I got. Some stuff shouldn't even need a vote. Bill Belichick in. Let's move. Come on. Let's move on to somebody that need a vote for real. They ain't even. That's not a vote. That's Bill Belichick. Done. Okay. Send him his congratulations letter. What? Bill Polian like, no. Let's vote it. Before we vote though, I don't think we should put him in. Tell us why, Bill. Yeah. Tell us how stupid this is. So we could. That's dumb. I'm not calling Bill Polian dumb. I'm calling. This gesture stupid. That's why everybody's going. LeBron James weighing in on it. Even he knows this is dumb. What does waiting mean? Wait for what? Why isn't Marvin Powell, father in yet? Because of stupid stuff like this is what's happening. Yeah, I ain't really. He went to SC. I'm a UCLA guy. Shut the hell up, man. Man, this stuff is crazy. Bill Polian should not have this much influence in 2026. He shouldn't. And some of these guys that get a vote, they need to be stripped. They need to be limitations, and stuff like this should be disqualifications. That's just my opinion. I don't like it, but I'm happy that we figuring out who's doing it, because usually Marv and Steve, it happens, but we don't know who did it. Now we know who did it. Bill, man, find you something to do. Lamar Jackson proved you wrong every time you step on the field. Not that you matter. And now you keeping Bill Belichick. For what? Because you can. Craziness.
Marvin.
Yeah, I mean, if Bill Belichick isn't a first ballot Hall of Fame coach, then who is? In a game where the most important the trophies matter in football. And that's what it is. Records matter, numbers matter. But in the NFL, it's about the trophy. It's about the Vince Lombardi, period, point blank, okay? This guy's been to 10 Super Bowls in his career. 10. As a head coach, he's won 6. And as an assistant, he's won a couple as well. Sure. I mean, if he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, who is? I mean, the idea that Roger Craig isn't in the Super Bowl is a crime for those who know. But Bill Belichick? Listen, but the thing with Bill Polian, what it tells you and reminds you of is that even older people, even people who are professionals, can be jealous, can be immature, can be petty, and they can be that in a way that really impacts the game. It impacts the process of the game. We should today, Patriot fans, New England fans, football fans, should be celebrating the fact that the greatest, and again, I say greatest by the championships, the greatest NFL coach to ever walk the sidelines was denied access to the Hall of Fame, and that's just a crime. And it comes off the effort, the hating and jealous and petty effort of Bill Polian. It's sad that a single man can have that much power. It's sad that you have other adults who are weak enough to fall to that, to drop to the knee for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really an unfortunate situation. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing, logically out there in regards to, Spygate and
Deflategate, all that nonsense.
Yeah, and Deflategate and all that stuff. I mean, if it happened, it happened. I don't know.
But he already paid for that. He paid a price for that.
Exactly. He absolutely did. And it's just one of those things where, is this going to be a Pete Rose thing? Are we going to be that ignorant? I mean, you say it can't be. You say it can't happen, right? No, it can never be that. I never thought Pete Rose would die without being inducted into the Hall of Fame while he was alive. That blew my mind. That the greatest, arguably one of the greatest players ever, greatest hitters ever, isn't in the Hall of Fame. So this is sad, man. It just tells you that even at the highest level, like Ye said, people got the most self-esteem issues, ego issues, pride issues. I'm a Jet fan, diehard Jet fan. I hate the Patriots. I hate everything New England and Boston, period. But I know Bill Belichick is the first ballot Hall of Famer. I know that it sounds crazy that Bill Belichick isn't in the Hall of Fame, regardless of how you feel about him, or you jealous of his girlfriend, or you jealous because he making $10 million.
That stuff matters. They are mad.
Yeah. All right. I think this might explain some of this stuff, and this is from one of our not only sports writers but Hall of Fame voters. So Paul Donovich made a post about 2 hours ago, right? And he was just laying this whole thing out, right? And he says a few things about this whole Belichick Pro Football Hall of Fame shitstorm for all intents and purposes. One, he's been a Hall of Fame on the selection committee for 25 years. I was on the coaches subcommittee this year that selected Belichick as a finalist. I voted for Belichick, so he wanted to clear that up. He thought he was a shoo-in, that he knew there were 2 or 3 people who weren't going to vote for him, either because of Spygate, the Hall of Fame's decision to reduce the weighting requirement for coaches from 5 to 1 year, but never imagined that he wouldn't get the necessary 80% approval, the 40 or 50 selectors. 2, contrary to popular opinion, selection committee is not only made up solely of sports writers, but also, that people need to stop with the ridiculous. The writers had a grudge because what he meant to them nonsense. That if anyone was bothered to look at the list of committee members, they notice it includes broadcasters, Hall of Fame players, coaches, executives, and former and current league executives, including the head of NFL Films. 3, that the Hall's decision to change the voting rules for players, coaches, and contributors and seniors last year was a huge mistake. And this is what I was getting to. And probably the reason why, what Ben was sitting there saying, why your dad hasn't gotten in, Marvin, that they put them all into one lump sum now. The seniors, the coaches, all that stuff is all put into one pot, which I think is wrong. They should all be separated. I agree with that part. Instead of having separate yes or no vote for the coaching, contributor, and senior finalists, Hall of Fame, that in their infinite wisdom decided to lump them all together last year, to consolidate the 3 senior finalists. Last year was Sharp, Maxie Ball, Jim Tyler, and the contributor candidate Ralph Hay, the coach candidate Mike Holmgren, which another one. Why isn't he in the Hall of Fame movement, right? And to have each one of us vote and ask for one of the 5. Common sense says if you're going to give 50 people 5 names and ask them to vote for 3, it's going to be much more difficult for any of the 5 candidates to get the necessary 80%. And that is exactly what happened. If only one of the 5 made it, and last year it was Shannon Sharp. The same with the modern era players, the way we did it for years, that would thoroughly discuss through 15 finalists. Our meetings would typically last 8 hours, 2 separate reduction votes from 15 to 10, from 10 to 5, and then the separate yes or no votes for the 5 survivors. The Hall of Fame class won't be officially announced to Thursday before the Super Bowl. The Hall has been upset about leaks since switching from in-person on the day before the Super Bowl to Zoom meeting mid-January following the COVID. They switched to the new voting besides the whining complaints for old Hall of Famers that it was becoming too easy to get into the club and to prevent selectors from actually knowing who made it. Well, mission accomplished because somebody leaked this, right? The fact that we're talking about this right now completely did away with the fact that that was going on. So what it means is the leak regarding Belichick didn't come from any of the selectors because none of us had any idea he didn't make the Hall of Fame. The leak was probably from someone in the Hall of Fame who was privy to the results and told somebody, maybe Belichick, who told somebody, and then his final words on that was "Get the hell off of my lawn." So Paul Domovich made some stuff that I think cleared up some things right there, right? On why some of these guys haven't been getting in, because some of the old coggers are getting upset and are sitting there saying it's too easy to get into the Hall of Fame. What?
No, it's not too easy to get the Hall of Fame. It sounds it sounds very convoluted, right? It sounds very like, number one, you give it. We never ever ask. Like, we go to doctors and we see physicians and we trust that, man, you got a PhD, right? Yeah, you practice in medicine, you a surgeon. We don't question that. We need to start questioning some of these decision makers and the decision making going behind how the Hall is being done. The most prestigious and hardest Hall of Fame to get in is the NFL. That is nothing against the NBA, that is nothing against MLB, and there's nothing against hockey and all that. And to have people who have great, because here's the thing, this is supposed to be merit of what I did on the field, right? It seems to be very, and here's the thing, why would you not want it to come out? Why would you not want it to come out how you voted? Because people gonna ask you why. Here's the thing, I don't like Deflategate, Bountygate, but you didn't kick him out the league. You let him keep coaching. You burnt the tapes, Roger Goodell. Burn them. But think about what Marv just said. I can't stand Boston sports. He cannot stand the Patriots. Cannot stand the Boston Celtics, right? That don't mean that Tom Brady wasn't him. That don't mean that Ty Law wasn't him and Rodney Harrison wasn't him. I just don't like him. But the difference is I'm not a voter. If you don't think bias is going on in these rooms, because here's the thing. Let me tell you what you said too, Steven, that I heard. If we all put money in a pot to like pay for something and it's all cash, we don't know who put what. We really don't know. I mean, how much you could have put $1 in there, especially if it was already full. That's what's going on, and now they're getting found out, and I'm happy they're getting found out. The person who got to turn in that list looked at that list and said, Bill Belichick ain't getting it. Oh, no, bro, I'm leaking this. Bill Belichick, because it's crazy. It's crazy to think. So now when people go, why ain't Luke Kuechly get in? This is why. You see what I'm saying? Why ain't certain guys got it? So the Torrey Holst and the Reggie Waynes and the Roger Craigs of the world, they may never get in. Did you hear that? They may never get in. I don't think he was that good. Well, he was. Why? Because he's a Hall of Fame finalist. I was blessed to be in the Florida-Georgia game Hall of Fame. I didn't even know the Florida-Georgia game had a Hall of Fame until I got in. To those people that voted me in, thank you. I don't know you. I'll never meet you. But my name came up with all the quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, D linemen, and I got in. To whoever those people are, somebody fought for me in that room. Somebody did. And I got in. Here's the thing, right? When I got in, I'm not going to name them. I've had players reach out to me and ask me how I got in. They ain't saying I shouldn't. They saying, dude, how did you do it? As if I done sent somebody some money. Man, I don't even know where they vote for this at, bro. Like, I don't know. But they weren't wrong for not wanting to get in. I think it's wrong when somebody is invalidating my career who could never do what I did. Like, what? And people say, it ain't just the beat writers. You think that make it right? Because it ain't just, now it's a whole bunch of people. You got former GMs and front office people. This is what you know. Front office people and beat writers, they cannot be trusted. That's what I realized. They cannot. Because if this was players, Marv, won't they do this? Only let offensive linemen that are already in the Hall of Fame vote for another future Hall of Famer that's an offensive. Do that. I bet you he'll get in. Take a running back that's already in to vote for Roger Craig. Now, Ben, that makes too much sense. Yeah. Get the dude that worked for the Boston Globe and Bill Polian to do it. Man, stop it, man. This is why football players be so pissed off, man, because I'm like, I mean, think about it. If somebody go, who kept me out? That guy right here. Him? Hey, Bill, that's him? Oh, that's him? Man, stop playing. I thought it was somebody.
What are your thoughts, Marvin? Because I think
what Big
Paul did is laid out a lot of things that we needed, that the listening public needed to hear from people that are not inside those rooms. So what are your thoughts on that part of it?
So, well, having listened to you read that entire spiel, and it was a lot, and obviously listening to what Ben saying, I think what you have to understand is whenever you allow human beings to be a part of a decision-making process, you're going to deal with human emotions, and you're going to deal with humans who have feelings. And as I said, humans who have insecurities and jealousies. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Whether we're talking about the voters or the refs, human error is part of the game. It just is. And the thing about being in the media, being a journalist, one of the main things you're supposed to be is objective. But that's hard because most of these people are going to be hardcore sports fans who know sports personalities and how that person was at the press conference or how they treated you during an interview or what you heard about them through your best friend who's a GM. Or that stuff impacts you, whether you want to admit it or not. You know what I'm saying? It does. So we deal with human error. We deal with human emotion in a situation where people should be professional. And part of that is being objective. And I just don't think you're able to get that. It's no different from voting for anything else, president or male. People get caught up in emotion. They get caught up in the TV advertisement. They get caught up in the scam that you did, which has nothing to do with your ability to do your job, which Belichick has done for a long time at a high level. So as long as we allow humans as part of the process, y'all, this is what it is. Steve and Ben, you both mentioned it. My dad has been a part of the senior list now for a couple of years. And now, Steve, as you read off, the criteria and what has been turned into. I'm thinking to myself, there's no way they're going to have enough people to give him 80% when they split the way they split. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And this is somebody who I believe, for multiple reasons on and off the field as a contributor player, had real impact in the game. So it breaks my heart, to be honest with you, to hear that they're playing games with something that men have and fought for. They're playing something that men have put their life on the line for. You know what I'm saying? To keep this, when the league wasn't playing payers nothing, you know what I'm saying? These dudes went out there and played hurt and did the two-a-days in the summer, all the preseason games. They did all the sacrificing to get to this point, and we let red tape and feelings interfere with the process. And that's unfortunate. So now I'm thinking to myself, is this where AI jumps in? Is this where we just make it computerized and take feelings?
I mean, it's gonna have to be something else. But Marvin, I'm happy you said that last part. Ain't it crazy? Once again, come back to the player. Did our feelings and emotions matter? Guys play. They got a family member they just put in the ground. They got a baby that just died. They show up to the game because they understand. Hey, man. As much as I know they would forgive me, I wouldn't forgive myself, man. I only get so many Sundays, right? And these same GMs, front office people saying all this, man. I loved him as a player, loved his grit until it's time to give him what he's earned. Let me say this: these players earned this. This ain't the stone called the NFL Hall of Fame. And we outside and hey man, it's a long line. No, it's prestige. Yep. What John Gruden said, man, you one of the greatest of all time. You don't mess with that. I get feelings and emotions are involved, but if I'm in the room, I'm saying with everything. Listen, I know that when he had an event, he canceled on you and he cut you off in traffic, and you don't like his politics. Was him on the field? Yes. What are we doing?
He's got a question for you, Marvin.
Yeah, my dad was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1994. This was after being a 3-time All-Conference, 2-time All-American, and the number 4 pick in the draft.
You know what? Hey, Steven, we're gonna make this show even. We're gonna extend this show not today, but we're gonna say, look, we're gonna start getting in contact with former Hall of Famers. That's all that at these positions, and we're gonna name the hey Jonathan Ogden. Yeah. Do you know Marvin Powell? Who's the left tackle? Yeah. Watch with his face there. Oh my God. Just look. That's the part I don't like. Yes, we are at the beck and call of some of these people, but I don't like that. I don't like the fact that somebody gonna tell me what my parent was because you didn't like him. Man, crazy.
But so we're talking about a lot of things, and a lot of things happened over the last week. And there's another thing I kind of want to touch on because it's very sad and touching, and it shouldn't have happened. There's no reason it should have happened, but it did. Unfortunately, over the past week, we lost former Eagle, former Raider Kevin Johnson. He was having from what I'm understanding, some type of TBI issues. We don't know if it's CTE at this point in time that led to the fact that he was homeless. And while being homeless, living in a homeless encampment, he was murdered. He had blunt force trauma to his head. There were several stab wounds, and during the week, Asante Samuel put out a post that NFL players being homeless, like that the NFL just needs to do better. And it's stuff that me and Ben have talked about on other things that I don't think some of these players are aware to some of the stuff that they have access to as being a former NFL player. And then, this guy goes off on this rant basically on the top half of this that, making it about like a mismanagement of money that, Kevin had made enough money in his life to not be in a situation where he's homeless or something to that effect. And that, I'm going to say this. I don't think it's 100% on the NFL's back that Kevin was homeless. I don't think it was 100% on their back that this should be attributed to him. I do say that we need to, former players, whatever, make sure that they have access to information to help them when they're in these situations and they're struggling with whatever aspect of life it is, whether he was having TBI issues that it has turned into CTE or not. We're not going to know until the autopsy's done and over with, and they actually take a look at his brain to see if he did have CTE or not. But the fact that we're talking about a former player, he only played in the NFL a handful of years, so I think like if you look at it, the total dollar amount attached to the contracts he got in the NFL, it was barely $500K. So it's not like he was ever a millionaire in earnings or anything like that. But it's sad when this happens to a former player that he was homeless, and he unfortunately another person took his life. You got to feel for his family, and I'm not going to put it on the NFL because, like I said, the only thing I think they need to do a better job is outreach and making sure these guys are connected with their former brothers and teammates and stuff like that to be able to give them the resources they need to improve the situation they're in, whether it be medical, physical, whatever, mental, whatever. There has to be a better way than us, losing another brother of the Shield. I'm going to start off with Marvin on this one. What are your thoughts on Kevin's passing? And
a few things that you said. First of all, I hate to hear the loss of a young man because he's still he was a young man. When you look at how long life could be. I hate to see another former player that you hear about being homeless and obviously just being murdered and brutalized like that. My heart goes out to him and his family. Listen, where the NFL and these teams have failed the players is really more to me with the lack of information that they provide to players, specifically related to CTE head injury. The NFL has known about CTE and concussions for decades, okay? Yet they lied and didn't disclose the information to the player, which is bad on the doctors who were involved, bad on the team, bad on the league, okay? And we've seen with the latest settlement that's something that has been addressed. As it pertains to the NFL or teams, being accountable because these players are making so much money and the NFL or the teams aren't helping with that, I don't agree with that. Do you think that you think that when they hire surgeons, that these hospitals have programs for these guys to figure out money? You think when these guys hire sales hedge fund dudes or dudes who selling crypto, whatever it may be, that they have classes for you to manage your money? No, the player has to have a certain level of accountability, responsibility, to be honest with you. And the player's agent should be one of the main people pushing that whole process of financial education, putting people in place for you. Okay. I blame the NFL and I blame these teams for disclosing medical information that the players had a right to know, that because they didn't disclose it, it impacted other things in that player's life, and that player went on to have issues. That I blame them for. But I think I really think it's a good look for the NFL to want to do that for the player. It's a good look for them because you don't want to hear these stories. But at the end of the day, the player has to have responsibility. And I'm not talking about Kevin in particular, just in general. The player has to have responsibility. And hopefully you understand you're making lifetime money. At some point in that process, if you're able to get past year one, get past year two, because that's a hard thing. When you wild and fast, undisciplined, you don't get out of year one. You don't get out of year two. A lot of these dudes don't make it to year three. I didn't make it to year three. And primarily for lack of discipline, to be honest with you, even though I had a dad telling me right and wrong from the beginning. So no, I think that the players have to own some kind of accountability in regards to what they do with their money. And as they stay in the league and you continue these habits year after year, that's a problem. I can understand you going there first time getting this money, whatever, first year, first off season, whatever. And if you're lucky enough to survive through that and last, you got to catch on and do better than that. That's really what it comes down to. And yeah, it would be a good look for the NFL to make sure that there aren't all these stories of players going broke, going homeless. And if the homelessness has anything to do with the CTE concussion, well, again, yeah, we can argue that conversation started really late. But yeah, I hate to see it with this young player here, with this young man lost his life. You hate to hear these stories. The reality is you do have these stories out there, but you also have a plethora of stories of guys who've done it the right way, who've done the right thing. You don't hear about those enough. You don't. You would think that all NFL players are this and that. And it's just that's not the case. I think these brothers are doing much better today than generations before them, but we don't celebrate the good stories because they're not as salacious. They don't sell as much. People don't want to hear that. They want to hear the stereotype repeated. And unfortunately, there are some of those still out there. So sad story, man. I hate to hear it. And, I encourage my NFL brothers to do better in terms of how they live their lives, how they spend their money, and just not making the same mistakes twice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, most football players, I mean, we either play with each other or never knew each other. I think sometimes people hear something happen to a football player, assuming we all know them. I mean, we're about as different as football players as we are as people. So when we hear about it, it's unfortunate. But I do agree with something Marvin said. When you hear these stories, they are the exception. They are not the rule. Because if it was the rule, the NFL couldn't survive. They couldn't survive now. Does the NFL do a good job of making sure people understand? Yeah, they do. But football players and as men, we hard-headed now. Just because it's help out there don't mean you're going to do it. Just because it's resources out there don't mean you're going to seek it. And sometimes when you are a former professional athlete, you ain't used to going and doing the thing you need to do, and that's ask for help. It makes you telling yourself, oh, they going to think of this, they going to think of that. No, they going to know you need. I can't assume you need anything if you don't say anything. But it is still unfortunate. It is. Because just because I'm a good football player don't mean I'm good at life. Just because I can run around and do some stuff, that don't make me a good decision maker. And I am not talking about Kevin in general. I'm saying every time we see this, yes, I do think the NFL tries to do things to try to help, but that's a lot of players scattered all across the country, man, that all got different needs and wants and desires, and it's going to be hard to please them. Now, are they continuously having things? Yeah, but, I always think about the family members who have to live through this, who have to see, look, we were trying to help them. Because we only get what happened. We don't get the sequences of how it led up to it. He was in a homeless shelter. He got killed. All right. How did he, you see him? That's a story, but what's the backstory? It's a lot. He was 55 years old. So he was out of the NFL a long time. That's a lot that happened. And let me say this. $1 million is only transformational money if you use it right. You got to use it right. And that's financial literacy is one of the biggest things. The one thing that my father told me, who never made $1 million, man, said, man, you got to get that young man out your system. I mean, you got to grow up. You got to let that it's just stuff. When we're talking about what people do with their money, we're talking about bad decisions. I had 5 cars at one time. My daddy said, boy, you ain't got but 2 feet. That's perspective. That's coming from a person that can't afford it. And sometimes we like what comes with the sport, not the sport, what comes with it. I want to look a certain way, be a certain way. But my cousin said something. He said, Troupe, if you drive a Camry and I drive a Camry, it looks different because you in it. See, they don't believe that. You don't got to get this stuff. It's just stuff. And once again, it's a bigger conversation need to be had, but I'm praying for Kevin's family because you always leaving something behind. And these people are going to be asked questions that they probably had nothing to do with, right? So I'm thinking about that, but we as grown men, Stephen, no one told you how to be a grown man and a father. We have to figure it out. Well, too much is given, much is required, man. If you want what comes with the NFL, man, don't complain about it when you get it. It's a lot to come with it. And everybody wants the money, man, but it's just money. Find a way to do right. Find you something that don't take all your money, and find you something that make money. Because they say a business is only a business if you can put it down and it keep working. If you got to do everything, that's not a business. Put it down and see if it still works. So, hey, man, I know that was a lot, but I'm praying for that, praying for his family. I just think that every time we hear these stories, you would think that the NFL don't do nothing. Well, here's the thing. The NFL is a high generating, sports business in America. So if the NFL ain't doing it, the NBA show ain't doing it. And the MLB show ain't doing it. Because the second highest generating sports business in America, that would be college football. That is number 2. That is over the NFL. I mean, NBA, MLB. People like Marvin are doing a great job when you start talking about the different things they do, man. So I want to highlight you, Marvin, man. Y'all are a godsend. Show up to some of these events. And sometimes just show up with no expectation at all. And I guarantee you ain't going to just be able to sit in there and not talk. That's not how I go. You ain't going to just sit in here and, hey, man, what's up? What's your name, man? Talk to us. Well, mental health is real, man. And if we talk more about mental health, CTE would be easier to talk about. But since we don't talk about it, you know what I'm saying? Therapy is real and it works if you work it. So hopefully that helps some of the listeners, man. But yeah, I'm like Marvin. I'm not gonna just blame it on the league. The league gave him a chance.
That's why I'm wanting to make it clear. Like I don't put this on the NFL's back, and especially like Marvin said, like he's 55 years old. He's been at the league, for more than 10, 15, 20 years. So it's rough. I mean, I bring it up because he was an Eagle for a period of time, so I want to make sure it's something we get out there and people are aware of. But it should be another cautionary tale why you don't need to have your pride and ego about things. You need to make sure that you're asking somebody for help. To help put yourself back on the right path to get yourself out of the situation that he found himself in, and unfortunately lost his life because he was living in a homeless encampment, not not with family, not with friends or anything in between. So another cautionary tale in life. I know we're getting close to up against the end of it here. I want to kind of get through a couple more of these topics, so we're just going to go a little bit over 2 hours today. So one of the things I wanted to get to, and I know Marvin wanted to talk about this, is Sam Darnold winds up punching his ticket this past weekend. He is the first one from that 2018 quarterback class that had Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Technically, it's his second trip because he was also on the 49ers team that went in 2023. So I know you got the USC love flowing for Sam Darnold. I know part of you is kind of hurting as well because it's now official, right? You leave New York. Because Saquon made the Super Bowl last year. You leave New York, you go to another team, you get a Super Bowl trip. So I know it's a little bit of a sting, but let's start off with Marvin on this. Like, how excited are you for Sam Darnold? Because this is a very winnable Super Bowl for Sam. He doesn't even have to be Superman. He just has to not cost him the game. And I think the Seattle Seahawks have a very, very good chance of beating the New England Patriots in 2 weeks. What are your thoughts, Marvin?
Yeah, listen, Sam Darnold is the first USC Trojan to ever start a Super Bowl, and that's remarkable when you think we've been playing football since 1880, and we've had almost 500 players reach the NFL. He's the first quarterback ever to do it, and what it tells you is that as it pertains to like evaluating quarterbacks, evaluating players, it's a crapshoot. And these NFL teams have no idea what the hell they're doing. Sam Darnold was the number 3 pick in the draft for the New York Jets. I'm going to be honest with you. Considering that there wasn't a bunch around him, he didn't play bad. To me, he didn't play bad enough to drop him after drafting him number 3. Then we see him in Carolina, and we see him in Minnesota. Minnesota, he looked great. This year, he had a good year in Seattle. Obviously, he's headed to the Super Bowl. But it just tells you, man, it's a crapshoot with these players. And it's all about fit. It's all about the leadership. It's all about the organization who drafts you, if they know what the hell they're doing with you, what they have around you. Do they have a plan for you? And a lot of times they don't. And we see these quarterbacks who we would label busts. Oh, he's a bust. He bounced around 3 or 4 teams. He's nothing. No. I think that speaks to bad management and bad leadership. So I'm happy for Sam, a guy who was projected out of college, who had a great college career at USC. He was a phenomenal player for us. But guy who went high in the draft, bounced around, was labeled, never really recovered from the whole "I'm seeing ghost" comment. That was played out in New York. And I think what you're seeing Sam Darnold the last couple of years is redemption. What you're seeing is the talent that we thought that he had coming out of college. We're seeing that show up. We're seeing veteran years. We're seeing, years in the league show up as veteran years and experience. So you put the guy around a good defense, give him a good run game, give him a couple of receivers. Wow, now we're in the Super Bowl. Really solid player, and I'm looking forward to him going out there and having a great game.
Ben, your thoughts?
Not surprised. I think Marvin just hit it on the head. Everybody thinks just because the team that drafted you and you become a franchise quarterback that you're not a good quarterback. That's not true. How many quarterbacks never even make it to an AFC, NFC championship game? Most of them. How many quarterbacks never make it to a Super Bowl? A bunch of them, right? I know they want to talk about Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. They want to talk about Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and all these guys that came before him. RG3 was talking about how this guy made it to a Super Bowl before all these players. And somebody said, and before you too, RG3, don't leave yourself out. See that? He made it before you. Sam Darnold went to the Jets. The last Jets quarterback that was successful was another USC quarterback by the name of Mark Sanchez, with the back-to-back AFC championship games with Rex Ryan. It is hard to win. That's all Sam Darnold showed is if it's hard to win in the NFL, and I play the hardest position in sports, you would think I would get some credit for that. But I don't. We so ready to put that bus tag on the play. Like, bus? Number one, he's the only player in NFL history to win 13 games for 2 different teams. He's the only player ever. Not Joe Montana, not Tom Brady, not Peyton Manning, not Drew Brees. I'm happy for Sam Darnold because that's the only way you're going to get people to shut up. What you going to say now? Keep on making up stuff. Oh, man, he ain't that good. Lies. Ask Justin Jefferson how much he missed Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. Ask Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson. Ask them. Because they thought, oh, yeah, man, we put the young boy in that. No. It takes time to develop. I'm supposed to peak in year 2, year 3. What did A.J. Brown say? Oh, because Saquon ain't going for 2,000. I mean, he ain't good either, right? No, he's gone for 2,000, which is a very prestigious list. Sam Darnold did the same thing in 2025 he did in 2024. And that's when a bunch of football games, except for 2025, they had they were the tops in the NFC, and they did it the hard way. I'm happy for them.
Well, and that's why I'm going with Seattle, because Drake May didn't look good last week.
Drake May didn't look good
He looked like a second-year quarterback last week. Put the weather aside.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to use that as an excuse. Now we obviously we talk a lot of Jalen Hurts on there. Let Jalen Hurts play that way in the championship game, like Sam Darnold.
Don't do that. No, we can't do that, Stephen. But I will say this. Shout out to old Pat McAfee coming at Dan Orlovsky. Sometimes you got to be asked, hey man, your energy seemed to be a lot. Because when Buffalo wins, it's because of Josh. And if Buffalo loses and Josh plays bad, nah, man, get off of Josh. We have already decided who we're gonna crown a hero, right? And I think what Sam Darnold does, Sam Darnold to me is just like a Jalen Hurts. These ain't no, not this one. That's the wrong one. This ain't the one I order. Dude, what you order? I ordered the Herbert. I ordered the Allen or the Burrow. No, man, we was back there for all day. Ain't none of them back there. The only thing back there is a Darnold and a Drake May dog. That's it. You say you want the Super Bowl quarterbacks, right? Yeah. Dude, go back in the back and pull out that box. And that's what no one wants to say. That's why the NFL ain't scripted. Because if it was scripted, do you think it would be Drake May versus Sam Darnold? If the NFL was scripted? No, people. So Sam Darnold, keep doing what you're doing. Like I say, Sam, I am Darnold. I'm always gonna say you look like the villain off of The Incredibles, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And here's what they ain't ready for too. Sam Darnold wins MVP. Uh-oh. Then what they gonna say? Because guess who we got a better resume than right now? We talking about just what it means to be a quarterback. Got a better resume than Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers never went to no Super Bowl. And he's up to be head coach of the Buffalo. Sam, do your thing, sir. I'm rooting for that man.
I'm gonna give you reason number 2 why I'm excited for Seattle and why I hope they win the Super Bowl. Is there just another reason to piss off the Dallas Cowboys? Because remember, we were talking about this earlier in the year. Remember Ben, when Michael Parsons was calling him a hater and it was clown talk and something like that because he adopted Seattle and he basically said, I'm never going to win a Super Bowl here. So he went to Seattle and guess what? Not only is he made it to the NFC Championship game, but he's playing in the Super Bowl this year, the very first year that he leaves.
Yeah, hey, he said he called it. I mean, D-Law wasn't saying nothing we all don't know about Dallas, right? Michael was in his feelings, not even realizing he ain't even a freaking Cowboy now either. But D-Law saying, look, man, I'm going to a culture-driven team, not a brand-driven. The biggest brand and probably the biggest brand in sports is the Cowboys. And there ain't nothing wrong with it. Jerry Jones is always on brand. Brands ain't winning championships. Cultures are. Culture's winning championships. So he said, I'm out here with a culture. And if you've ever been somewhere that has a culture, it don't take long. You can smell it. You can feel like, God, dog, I was with the Raiders when we had Lane Kiffin. And if I know what a culture is, I know what a culture is not. See, I know this ain't it. This ain't it. Marv, you never been somewhere with the missus. Steve, you never been somewhere with the missus, and you go, baby, did we order this? This ain't how I look on the pamphlet.
Ben, to your point, when I was in New Orleans in '99, at one point we were 1-8. And I felt like nobody in the building cared. I kid you not. Okay. That's really how I felt. The next year, I was traded to Green Bay. Brett Favre's coming off his third MVP. I walked into that building. It was a whole nother world with the energy. And it was night and day. And I felt it the moment I walked in. This place is different than where I just came from. Kid you not. So what Ben's saying about culture is real, man. It's a very real thing. Look, Steve, I know you was talking about Drake May not playing good. I expect, one of the X factors here, Josh McDaniels, man. Josh McDaniels is an X factor. I expect him to get this board right. I'm expecting a good Super Bowl, Steve. Ben, I am. I'm expecting a good Super Bowl.
I didn't say that. I just I like the veteran here over the year two guy. Doesn't mean that I don't think that Drake May is not a up and coming quarterback. It doesn't mean that I don't think that Drake May will not find himself back in the position to potentially win a Super Bowl. I just think it's a bad fit. I think that Seattle defense is for real. They make turnovers. They make it very uncomfortable for quarterbacks. I think he's going to be in a situation where he's going to bail out on plays, and Seattle's going to make him pay for it. I see it's going to be like a 27-17 Super Bowl win for Seattle. They avenge the Malcolm Butler interception, and Seattle gets.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was what 2014. That 2014.
Listen, I think it's just meant for Seattle to win it this year. Sam Darnold is a big piece of that, but that defense is legit.
Oh no! Leonard Williams and Ernest Jones and Tariq. You got to stop getting unsportsmanlike. No, the matchup is going to be Christian Gonzalez and JSN. Ooh, that's going to be must-see TV because you're going to have to throw it to him. I don't know if you're going to throw it to him a lot, but I think the X factor in the Super Bowl is a guy that really hasn't really played as well. It's the last time Cooper Kupp was in the Super Bowl. He was Super Bowl MVP, but he was wearing Rams colors. Now he's back. And the Seattle Seahawks. And there is something, if culture is one thing, experience is everything. If you've done it, right? Because Jared Goff, if you can remember, when they played New England, they lost 13-3. Cooper Kupp was hurt. They scored 3 points. You fast forward, they back in the Super Bowl, same Sean McVay. Only this time you got Matthew Stafford. They win the Super Bowl because Odell Beckham probably would have won MVP had he not got hurt. But I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel, see what happens Tennessee when you have good coaches. You keep them. That's what don't get me started, man. I'm trying to tell you, good teams are good teams because they make good decisions. Great teams are great teams because they make the right decision. Great teams make the right decision. And look, I want Sam Darnold to get that thing because I know what it's like. People always got something to say. Like, people ain't rooting for you the way they think. I say Sam Darnold is saying, I thought I wasn't that good though. Because I was saying I was seeing ghosts and all that. I'm only telling the truth, right? Well, how many quarterbacks have been good for the Jets since I left? It's hard. You got to get that. But before the culture gets right, you can't expect that player to be right. And you can't expect the player to do it. Give me something to work with and watch what happens. Every quarterback that is successful has 2 things in common: culture and a coach. Every last one of them got a culture and a coach. Then you do the quarterback. Give me coach, give me quarterback, give me team, give me scheme, and watch us go out there and glean. Watch what we do if you give us all that. So, hey, man, I ain't a Trojan fan, but I can root for Sam Darnold, baby. I can root for them boys. Mr. Black Cleats himself. Y'all boys with the black cleats right out there, right? Y'all with the Trojan colors with the black cleats right, Marv? Okay, just making sure.
That's how you do it.
Listen, I think it's going to be a fun Super Bowl. I know it's not going to be the sexy one. I know Bad Bunny's already causing problems. Apparently, he's going to wear a dress for the halftime show. I don't know if I'm going to listen.
If you didn't want to be crazy, you should have left him alone. You should have left him alone.
I am going to leave it alone. I'm not going to.
No, not you, Steven. Not you, Steven. I'm saying they keep poking that man. telling him, don't nobody want to hear no Spanish. I'm Puerto Rican. I don't want to hear all that. What? What? You don't want to hear that? No. What you mean? I'm Irish, man. I drink beer. No, we don't want to see all that. What? Really? Ain't that crazy? They telling you to do exactly what your culture say you are. Don't do that. Disrespectful. Hey, man, you shouldn't have booked him.
Right. Two more that I want to really get to. It's a rough one right here. Allen Iverson had been signed to do an event in Australia, and apparently showed up 2 hours late. Security was telling family he's having a bad day. He actually didn't want to come out at all. Refused to allow parents in the room during the meet. Refused to sign any jerseys or memorabilia. He did not speak to the children. Kept his hands in his pockets during photos. Didn't smile. One family reported they drove over 6 hours to the event, describing Iverson as having zero interest in being there. And actually, former NBA player and Australian player Andrew Bogut had brought his family there, and basically didn't leave any stone unturned for that one, and said, he's an absolute, it's bleeped out here, but I think he's a shit human for this. I don't know. Like I get sometimes like you get overbooked for things, and you may be going through some stuff personally, or sometimes reschedule the event, cancel the event, do something like this. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going there and you're just completely detached from the situation and totally uninterested. Ben, I'm gonna start with you because you've been to sign events. Listen, we're humans at all the same time. If you're overbooked at that,
you're over. You just said it. We're right. We're humans. Now, hold on. We know that something really happened, right? Like you think AI went that far to be salty? No, something happened. See, and once again, AI is still trying to protect whatever happened. Now, he could have been a little better. But Marvin has had this happen before. Marvin sitting down eating with his family. Somebody say, "Hey, Marvin, listen, I know you I know you eating with your family or whatever. I know you don't want people coming up to you asking you for an autograph, but can you?" Which is ass. But here's the thing. When you are an athlete, both current, future, or past, you don't get to have a bad day. You don't get to have no. What you mean? What you mean you got feelings and emotions and I drove 6 hours. You think you drove farther than I flew? I had to fly here. That's a long flight. I ain't never been to Australia. I know it's a land down under. I know it's a long flight. All I'm saying is, one bad day for AI, look at this bad publicity. That could ruin future opportunities, which means I am not saying AI was right for how he did. I'm just saying that don't make him wrong for what he did, because we don't know the full nuance of it. Not saying it's right, but sometimes, and Marvin, maybe I'm jumping the gun. Sometimes you get sick of that part. I get sick of, I always got to put on the good face. Your wife looking at us like, Marvin, it's okay. No, it ain't okay, man. They told me. And you see what I'm saying? That is what is exhausting. You want to know the exhausting part? That part. Forget what I'm dealing with. Hey, this Marvin? Yeah. Hey, man, sorry, man. Your dad ain't making it in the Hall of Fame. Man, I thought you would click. I got to go out there and, hey, that stuff is hard, man. That's hard to do with your own family. So I'm not condoning what AI did. Let me stress that again, right? Ain't it always a story? I drove 8 hours to get. How do we know you drove 8 hours, ma'am? How can we confirm? Not saying you didn't. Not saying you didn't. So AI, look, you're way famous than I ever want to be. I never cared about no fame. I'm just saying, Steven, you've done events for people that were disrespectful, and you like this. Ooh, you lucky. I will light you up if we wasn't in public. Steven, I know I'm not gonna name him name, but there was a certain gentleman that we used to work with that came all the way to Philly. And you was like, that's how you go. So I'm not saying, let me say this again. AI, I'm not saying you was right, sir. And I'm not saying you was wrong. You got to find that middle part. Because, I have a nonprofit 3.5 hours away from where I live, right? And one of the only things we tell our parents to do is to drop your kid off. We got parents that'll say, well, Ben, if you can't come get him, he ain't going. Do you know how? So hold on, you got to drive 5 minutes. I got to drive 7 hours. That's going and coming with good traffic. So, but I got to be the one to say, so Ben, you telling me you can't come get him? You drove that far? Ma'am, I would, you better be lucky I know Jesus. I'm just telling you, this stuff is crazy sometimes. But hey, man, it's gonna happen, man. AI close to 50 now. If he ain't 50, this ain't a 30-year-old AI now. Your patience get thin. My daddy say, I said, Daddy, how's it feel getting ready to turn 68? No patience, none. I just got it for my mom and my grandkids. I'm his son. He ain't got nothing for me. He got something for the ones that came from me and his wife. So AI, man, hey man. You highly sought after, man. Don't mess up them opportunity, man. It's an hour, smile. They probably asked him to do some stuff. So AI, do your little crossover. I guarantee you, it's a lot more to it. Do your little crossover. AI, I ain't doing it. Really? I drove 6 hours, and so I don't know. Hopefully,
what are your thoughts on this one, Marvin? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, number one, when you deal with human beings, this is kind of what you can get sometimes. Unfortunately, this sounds more like a young AI than present AI, because I haven't, you would think this guy is still doing appearances, still trying to make some money. You haven't heard anything like this,
No.
What's unfortunate as well is, and I don't think you should be celebrated for doing what you should be doing the right thing necessarily, but they don't, how come there are no stories of, the 1,000 other times he did an event and it was life-changing for people. It was inspiring for people. Where are those stories at? On this one, it sounds like he had a bad day. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that there's more to it, as Ben said, that we just don't know about. You know what I'm saying? You still expect him to maintain a certain level of professionalism. He traveled 20 hours by flight to go out there. Make it work.
We hope that straight flights too, Mom. We ain't even talking about delays.
No, that better be New York to London, London to Melbourne, or something like that. I'll give you one stop on a trip like that. But no, man, I hate to hear this kind of stuff come out, because the reality is you got everyday people out there who are going to criticize him for this and get on him for this. But in their own lives, in their own workplaces, they pieces of crap too, or they have bad days too. You just don't hear about that. So I'm going with the majority over this. And the reality is, the majority of time in the last 2 decades, you don't hear this from him. All you hear about how he's turned his life around, doesn't drink like he used to, or if at all. These are things to be celebrated. Listen, is it practical, or does it make sense, or do I believe that he went out there and kind of flipped the script? Maybe.
I could believe AI. You know what you should do? You should come on the Fan in the End and just talk about it, man. Come on over here. With our platform is your platform. Come through, man. I would want to talk about it if I was you, and I would want to come on a platform that's welcoming. You know what I'm saying? That want to just hear your side. No shade, no judgment. With this is what they say. We listen and we don't judge. We ain't judging you, brother. We just come through.
You just hope it doesn't mess up his opportunity to make some money moving forward. Go ahead, Sam.
I'm gonna say it like this. Marvin's right, because I've known, at least in the past 2 to 3 years, he's done more than a handful of signings in the tri-state area. And watching the videos and pictures that come out from where he's done these signings, and it's all been great. I thought before I seen this report that he had been overbooked, that he did multiple different events in a few day period of time. And I think maybe, that, but also it's like what I said earlier, if you already know that you're having a bad day like this and you're just not about it, reschedule and say, listen, listen, I'm having a bad day. I know we made the agreement to do with this. Let's run this back in a month or two and do it again. Because I'm just physically, mentally, whatever, like we said, whatever the actual situation is going on, let that be a bad day, whatever, and just come back and honor what you said you're going to do at a later date. Will people initially be upset? Yes, but like we said, we're all human beings. We have days where we're just not. We don't want to deal with the BS.
Yeah.
If he was having one of those days, he's having one of those days. He's allowed to have a bad day. We're not sitting there shining up AI is the example of what we should aspire every inch of our life to be. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is don't be forcing the guy to be doing X, Y, and Z, and then just be upset when this is the result you get. But yeah, Eddie, like as we were already mentioned, like there was stuff like 10, 15 years ago where people have had these stories about AI, and he was drinking and doing all stuff.
Oh yeah. Them the one. And listen, and once again, when you already don't like him, that's what you want to stick to. Yeah. Oh, I already don't really like him.
But
I'm gonna keep saying this about AI.
Like we know that he's kind of changed who he is, but as we were sitting there saying, if he was on, a third leg of a red eye flight and then just hopping right in, it's just not an optimal thing.
Yeah,
you have to have some type of understanding when it comes to this. Like Ben was sitting there saying, I'm not gonna sit there and side with you, but I'm not also gonna villainize you for it either.
Oh yeah, I don't know AI, man. I mean,
if he was really feeling like it just wasn't the day to do it, reschedule. Don't cancel the event altogether and just basically be like, F you guys. Say like, listen, this is just not working for me today. Like let's reschedule this a month from now, 2 weeks, whatever. Just so you can kind of reset yourself and go and show up in the way that you want to.
Hey, I can write a book on being hated on. Hey, I look at what Jalen Hurts go through and go, young man, I see it, but I'm the reason why the NBA got a dress code. AI had more white guys with cornrows in their hair than I ever seen in my life when he was at his peak. I'm just saying, man, his impact was crazy when he was in the league. I ain't never seen Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. I get it, but AI, he right there as far as impact. So
yeah,
he'll be all right.
So as we're gonna get ready to wrap this one up, obviously, get both of your guys' final thoughts. Marvin, parting words, last thoughts for this afternoon.
Yeah, Bill Belichick got robbed, and it's really effed up when you think about his commitment to this game, his impact on the game, his impact on the greatest player that we've ever known, the greatest champion we've ever known in Tom Brady. He got robbed, man. And, what you saw from Bill Polian was just a little jealous boy who never grew out of being jealous, never grew out of certain insecurities, never really turned the hump on maturity. That's what you see, and I hate that because Bill Polian's had himself. He's had great impact on this game, But to be a part of anything that hates on Bill Belichick and limits his votes to get into a place that he absolutely deserves, I mean, it's horrible, man. I hate to see that. With that said, I know we'll be going next week, but hey, get ready for Sammy D, baby. Let's go Seahawks.
Ben, final thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. Look. It's hard to do anything professionally. Anything. It's hard to be the best at it when you get to that level. The Bill Polians of the world, we need to shut that kind of stuff down, man. He's had his time. 20-some years. Let's move on, man. Let's Bill Belichick not being, I'm gonna say what Marv said. If Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, nobody is. Nobody is. Because either it mattered or it didn't. Either he did it or he didn't do it. Bill Polian didn't mind being voted to the Hall of Fame, did he? Though he ain't mind getting voted in. Ain't that crazy? A Hall of Famer won't vote for a future one. There's pettiness, and then there is front office and beat writers. That's a different level of petty, people. And it seemed to be trickling down to more than just the NFL. Shout out to Andrew Jones for finally getting in that MLB Hall of Fame. Yet, Barry Bonds is not. How? I just asked how.
I seen Will Clark did an interview at some point in time in the last few weeks. There's over 400 people that are voting for the Hall of Fame that are apparently active reporters for the MLB. You're telling me there's over 400 beat writers right now covering Major League Baseball? Where are they at? I ain't seen them. I ain't seen them. Have you seen them, Ben? Have you seen?
I know they cover them. Yeah, they write a story. They write a story a month, and it's a column. And they don't even got the research. Okay, well, vote for him. Oh, you trying to blame it? You trying to blame? That's what they're trying to blame it on them. Man. Listen, the fan in the end is one of the best places to come in. You want to get all things nuanced when you talk about sports. You talk about perspective, you talk about nuance, you talk about nonsense, but you listen because we make sense. So do yourself a favor and keep listening. You don't got to like it. You might think we're not right with our perspective, but that don't make us wrong. That does not make us wrong. Because until Marvin Dad get in,
tell you, Ben, I had a troll on YouTube that was trying to tell me that Kirk Cousins is one of the great quarterbacks of our era. He literally was comparing him to John Elway and Peyton Manning, and I just couldn't help but laugh. I'm like,
yeah.
Kirk
Cousins would laugh at that.
Guy who's 1-4 in the playoffs, man.
Kirk Cousins was laughed at. Kirk Cousins is the greatest real life bank robber we ever seen. But he robbed the bank in real time. I ain't mad at him. That man made $90 million in 2025. No, 2024. So.
Oh man, I gotta send you the screenshots of that Ben just laugh. I was laughing at this guy, man. I'm like, just really, we're having. I guess we are having this conversation. So
it's all good. Hey man, listen. They listening to you. They listening.
We well into the overtime period. I know you guys got to get ready with your afternoons. So with that being said, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate Liam for his time today. As always, appreciate Eddie Prather in the chat. But we got to go and we will see you guys in a few more hours for Inside the Pigskin. So I'm Steve. He's Ben. That's Marvin. This was another episode of The Fan in the End. We'll catch you later, guys. Peace on out.